engage will be one of the most exciting times of your life, and the winning team at London Jewelers is there to help you pop the big question. They have the cutting-edge technology and trained professionals at London Jewelers to help you select.
KM tonight?
No, so actually there's a Giants schedule show at 10. I'll take it. Honestly, this is the third show this week that I'll have. Like I took the train in, gym, get on the train, walk to the train, take the train, walk home, and try and go to bed tonight. And get up and help my wife with my son in the morning. It's been a nice little change of pace week. So little thrown off with my biorhythms, but not mad about it.
Good evening at 7 o'clock. This is Rich Ackerman. It's a quiet night locally before tomorrow's New York sports explosion. The Knicks getting ready for Game 6 against the Celtics, looking to end Boston's reign, while the Mets and Yanks both off tonight before tomorrow's Subway Series opener. The Thunder try to close out their Western Conference semifinal, up 3-2 in Denver tonight, while the Hurricanes and Capitals about to face off in Washington, which is trying to stave off elimination. It was a beautiful day in Charlotte for the opening round of the PGA Championship. North Carolina native Ryan Gerard and Cam Davis are tied for the first round, leading 5 under par. Gerard had the eagle on 15 with bogey, both 17 and 18. 6 golfers, one shot back, among them Luke Donald, Scotty Scheffler, and Rory McIlroy each hit a double bogey on 16. The Masters champ is 3 over par. Scheffler just 2 under right now. And that's what's happening. I'm Rich Hacker. All right, it's all yours. That's right. Tell your story. Walk and get off.
Yeah, let's get it again, folks. It's actually KM to 10 p.m. When we get to like 9 o'clock, 9:30, I'll start talking about the G-Men and their schedule. They're going to win a couple of those first games. I'm going to guess that they can win 2 out of the first 4. And at 10 o'clock tonight, there will be the Giants schedule preview show. So stay tuned for that. But right now, you just heard Ak talk about what's going on and what's going down. And everybody knows it's the calm before the storm. New York Sports Eve. All eyes on us. What a time to be alive. A little bit of a sports equinox, the most wonderful time. I'm happy right now. I'm excited right now. I'm hoping I'm able to sleep tonight. Like, I'm getting out of here. I'm going to get on the train. I'm hoping I can get to bed tonight by midnight because tomorrow is a long day and a big day. I am so pumped just to see what the city is like. I've been in New York City living, working since 2014. I grew up coming up here. My brother and sister both went to FIT. They didn't have a football team there, so I didn't even attempt to go to FIT. But, it's rare, at least in this recent time, for New York to be on top, right? For New York to have all of this national attention. For New York to have 2 first-place baseball teams. Clap it up for the 2 first-place baseball. The Mets and the Yankees picking up from where they left off last year. No letdown out the gate. Playing good baseball. You've got the best hitter in the game versus the highest paid player in the game. You've got the best offense, arguably, depends on what stats you check, in the game versus the best rotation, best pitching in the game. And you've got the best fans in baseball without a doubt. I don't know how many times you've heard me say October doesn't look right without Yankee Stadium and Citi Field. Major League Baseball headquarters are here. MLB NYC shop is here. MLB Network is here. Like, this is the mecca of baseball. And before we get into the back and forth around Juan Soto and Boone Juan Soto, I do want to send a message out to just take care of one another. Like, we are all neighbors and brothers and sisters and friends. And yeah, of course, the rivalry, it gets thick, it gets heavy, it gets tough. But, look out for each other. Avoid the bookings, beloved. Again, be smart at Yankee Stadium. Be smart outside Madison Square Garden. Be smart wherever you are in the city. Help somebody out, man. Get on the train. Don't drive your car if you've had a few brews, you've had a few shots. Call the Uber. I know the prices are going to be up there, but it's worth it. Like, let's look out for each other. How about no crime in the city tomorrow night? Wouldn't that be nice? No crime, no violence, a peaceful night where sports bring us all together. And I already said last night, I just imagine Yankee Stadium being a place where at some point after 8:30, 9 o'clock, you're going to start to see the focus shift where Mets fans and Yankee fans that might be at each other's throats are going to be sharing phones in a section. Hey, you got the game on your phone? Yeah. Hey, can I watch? What's the score right now? How many points Brunson got? What are the Celtics doing? What about Derek White? So that's where we're headed. We had Citi Field get their moment with the walk-off and the Knicks winning. We had last Wednesday Yankee Stadium have their moment with the second game of the series, the Knicks taking that game, and then the Yankees walking off the Padres. And now we'll come together in Yankee Stadium, and the Knicks will play. And I just put a video out on my social media thinking about it. Like, I'm washed, man. I'm older now. Like, I called myself old, and I refer to myself as being young, but I remember being young and being around here, or being young and being in the shore area and trying to rally the troops like, yo, let's go to Long Branch, take the train up to, New York Penn Station and go to the city tonight. That's what type of time it is tomorrow. People are going to be coming from all over the tri-state area to just be in this atmosphere, to just get their own videos, their own viral TikToks and reels, to just be around other fans of their teams. There's people obviously going to travel in for the Subway Series, but also for Madison Square Garden in Game 6. And I listened to the fan today, and obviously I was on last night, so I was in real time reacting to the game. And, I couldn't really watch the game. I couldn't listen to the game, but we analyzed the game and we broke down. I mean, there's some things that I didn't see. Like, I did not see Jaylen Brown grab Josh Hart's family jewels. I did not see actually like Karl Anthony Towns and how he played in the game until today. I went back and looked at some things, and I don't want to go down the route that I heard so many of our other hosts and callers go with the Knicks, where it felt like today was panic day and we know we have tomorrow to pump everybody up. You know what I'm saying? It's like, oh, they lost another game. Let's panic and let's criticize and let's come down on all the hype and let's worry about this series and let's talk about them not getting it done. Like, that's today. And you could go to sleep tonight, sleep on it tonight, and wake up tomorrow and it's go New York, go New York, go. 888-808-1019. If you're a Knicks fan and you wake up tomorrow knowing that tomorrow could be the day that they close it out, tomorrow could be history. The first time you get to clinch on home court since 99, the first time that the Knicks go back to the Eastern Conference Finals since 2000. That is literally an opportunity of a lifetime for the young Knick fan. Literally anyone under 30 that's a Knick fan, this is your time. This is your night. What's Big Mac say? Tonight is your night, bro. Tomorrow night is your night. And, shout out to Big Mac. I was listening to his show last night, and he talked about the Knicks, and the phrase that he used, he said, this team doesn't handle prosperity well. And that is spot on. When they win, they take their foot off the gas. When they don't have their backs against the wall, they don't have the same hustle and grit and tenacity. They don't play with the same sense of urgency. What do you think tomorrow night is Game 6 in the Garden? The last game that they'll play in the Garden, potentially for the season. Like, I think it's turned back up. I think Brunson is going to be on one right away because he's going to have a chip on his shoulder from the way that third quarter went. And I think the other guys like Karl Anthony Towns, I would love for Karl Anthony Towns to be the guy that has the best game tomorrow to send the Knicks to the Eastern Conference Finals, just so we can quiet any of the chatter around him and the trade and what Julius Randle is doing. I would love to see Mikal Bridges again continue his run and be a guy. OG Anunoby, just for the storyline. I give these guys a little bit of a break because I didn't expect them to be here. Most people didn't expect them to be here. I looked at this team and I said, it's too soon. They need more time to develop. They need to marinate. This team just got put together over the summer, going up against the Celtics team that, those guys have been running and they've gone through some battles, and even other teams in the East. I just really didn't think that quickly Mikal Bridges and Karl Anthony Towns coming in, that they could compete at a high level. The regular season fooled us. They couldn't beat any of the elite teams, but they're one win away from beating an elite team, the defending champions that are without Jason Tatum. And of course, we got a different look last night. That's another thing I didn't really pick up on while I was in here live watching. How they changed their pace of play, how they looked for different options, how they did find some points in the paint without Jason Tatum. Okay. I think the Knicks got them right where they need them to be. Game 6 in Madison Square Garden. And you can be right next door at the watch party for free. You can be out there in the streets. And you think they're going to let you down? I don't. You think that these guys don't know how many people are coming there? I think I took a glance at the tickets. And the tickets are around $600, $700 right now. That first game in the Garden was a lot more. This is closer to the second game. You will get some of the true Knick fans in there. You will get some of the Knick fans that said, oh, I was waiting for this. Loogie called Knicks in 6. I didn't spend my money on Saturday. I didn't spend my money on Monday. I was waiting for this one. This is the one I'm punching because this is historic. This is the Knicks actually doing what they're supposed to do. They've got one more game to win. I'm telling you, they don't want to go back to Boston. And you can give props to the Celtics for rallying around Jason Tatum. You can give props to Boston for getting one win on their home floor. That doesn't send me into a frenzy. That doesn't send me. It's a series. Each one of these games looks different. I expect the Knicks to handle business. The whole city is depending on it. And as far as the Yankees go, Juan Soto is going to get all the billing. Juan Soto is going to get all the focus. I expect them to cut in from MLB Network. I expect them, maybe even ESPN. Hey, Juan Soto's first at bat at Yankee Stadium. Let's hear it, folks. It's going to be loud. He's going to get booed. And who cares? We make so much about booing around here when this is the place they boo the most. I remember making the analogy about how much we honk the horn around here. It's the same thing. Somebody honked at me today. They honked as the light changed. I was so mad about it. I slowly rolled off the light and just stared through my rear view at them like, don't do that. I don't deserve that. I was moving. I wasn't flying off the light. It's a similar thing. You just beep and you boo around here in New York. And you know what? We're going to, I'm sure, take calls around, oh, do this, don't do this. You can't police fans. But what I'm saying today is like, hey, embrace it. This is a movie scene. This is New York City. New York, New York. There are people that wish they could be out here tomorrow. There are people that wish that they could be at either Madison Square Garden or out on the street, 7th Ave, or Yankee Land, River Ave. I was just talking to some of the homies like, there are people that are planning to come to Yankee Stadium just for the pregame, right? Because there's going to be Mets jerseys, Yankees jerseys. People are going to be pregaming at the dugout, at Bronx Draft House, Yankee Tavern, Stan's, Twins, Billy's. I'm sure I forgot one that's out there. You can drink wherever you want out there, but like there are people that are going to show up from 5, 6, 7 o'clock, not even going to Yankee Stadium, and then take the train down to 34th, walk over to the Knicks watch party and be in that atmosphere. You don't need a ticket. You just need to be outside. We're blessed to be outside. I remember just 5 years ago when COVID hit, we couldn't do any of this. This stuff was shut down. So if you're someone like me who like lives and breathes sports and fandom and likes to be amongst other fans and be outside and in the atmosphere and see it live, because I grew up not being able to go. I grew up thinking that New York was for rich people only. I grew up thinking that I'll never be able to afford a ticket. I'll never be able to see this stuff outside of the TV. It was only a TV program for me. Well, now it's my reality, and it's your reality too. 888-808-1019. If you're going to the game tomorrow, call me, tell me about your plans, whether it's the Knicks, whether it's the Mets and Yankee Stadium. Juan Soto seems to think that there's going to be 50,000 Yankee fans versus him. I'm like, yo, your math is off a little bit, bro. And come down a little bit, man. We know you think that it's all about you. But my question to you tonight, I put this out on Twitter. Who steals the show? Who shines the most in the Subway Series? Don't say Juan Soto. Don't say Aaron Judge. We expect that. And I got responses from everybody. We'll go through them tonight. We'll talk about the pitching matchup. We'll talk about the players, because there's a lot of players that are going to be like in the dugout and looking around like, damn, this is crazy. This is a lot for Juan Soto. And of course, the pressure is going to be on Juan Soto. He may respond. He may not. I expect him to respond. But man, there's going to be a couple players that are like, hey, they're not even thinking about me. Like I remember thinking about the Dodgers series last year when the Dodgers came to the Bronx. Teoscar Hernandez stole the show, and it was billed as Juan Soto, Aaron Judge. Soto didn't even play because he had the wrist injury. They shut him down. Juan Soto, Aaron Judge, Mookie Betts, Shohei Ohtani, Freddie Freeman, Garrett Cole, John Carlos Stanton, the New York Yankees. And Teoscar Hernandez stole the show. He was great. And he said he lives for those moments, knowing that these games are going to be on Fox. These games are going to be on ESPN. Literally, the world is watching us. It's our time to shine, New York. 888-808-1019. I cannot wait for this weekend. I know I'm not sleeping, but you'll see me at Yankee Stadium. I won't be at the watch party tomorrow. I won't be at Madison Square Garden, but I will be on tomorrow night to just live in it and recap it and talk through it with the greatest fans in the world. You're listening to The Fan. This is Keith McPherson. I'm only on till 10. In an hour, Joe Vardon will join us. He covers the NBA for The Athletic. I want to tap in with him to get some outside perspective, talk about the whole NBA playoffs and what he thinks about the Knicks' chances, not just tomorrow night or, even further. I'm assuming that the Knicks finish this in 6 and that they go on to the Eastern Conference Finals. I'm actually banking on it because I'd like to go. Keith McPherson on The Fan. I got to go. Let's take this break. Dial the number, whatever you're thinking, whatever you want to talk about, New York sports, Knicks, Mets, Yankees, Subway Series. We're going to knock that out. And then later in the night, we'll get into the Giants and the schedule. And Joe Shane spoke today with Kay Adams as well. I do want to go over some of the things that the Giants GM said. KM to 10 p.m. returns right after this. And we're off. We're rolling. Let's see here. In the chat. Mike says, hey, Keith, what a night of sports that I get to watch. The Somerset Patriots on TV, better than nothing. Shout out to the Somerset Patriots. I will actually be there next Friday, May 30th, or 2 Fridays from tomorrow, May 30th. Look out for that. I will be doing a whole thing with the Somerset Patriots. Looking forward to it. Hector, my guy. I know I can count on Hector to pull up. Mark, don't mention it. Blessed to get the opportunity to do it and have people care that I'm doing it. Pam, you the best. You already. Mike Mo, good evening. Yeah. Get ready for the Subway Series. I was born ready. They say stay ready so you ain't got to get ready. You feel me? You feel me? That's what type of time I'm on. Let's see. LFG, LGY. I can't wait. I'll be watching both games. Fun time to be a New York sports fan. Nice message about everyone. Just behave overall and have a good. Exactly. Like, look out for people, man. It's going to get wild. It's going to get crazy, but like, take care of people. Because that's the thing about New York, too. Not everybody's having a good time. Some people will try to prey on others. Some people will try to hurt people, steal. I've seen it with my own eyes. Look out for your fellow man. What up? Trent Grisham. Yeah, I bank on him. NBA draft was BS. Yeah, that's my overarching message. We're all New Yorkers. Take care of people. Take care of your next man. The rivalry and all that stuff is entertainment, but like look out for people. Look out for people that are going to have too much to drink. Look out for people that are going to get too rowdy, too carried away. We're going to have a good time. Oh, I did want to post shit. Where's my phone at? Okay. I wanted to post this on TikTok.
This is me recording.
I was thinking.
Downy Rinse and Refresh. Break up with stinky clothes. Downy Rinse and Refresh. Fights odor in just one wash. Guaranteed. This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Ranger.
What do you think?
Ranger offers the professional grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-RANGER. Just get it done.
Chevrolet, we understand that a car is more than four wheels. It's an extension of who you are. It's my general manager.
It's 7:20 p.m. on May 15th. Show just started. Just did my open live on YouTube, but this is going to be a wild 24, 30 hours of my Instagram story starting now.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Ranger who does the same. Ranger offers the professional grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-RANGER, FlipRanger.com, or just stop by. Ranger, for the ones who get it done.
For all station contest rules, go to WFAN.com/rules.
Control the play-by-play with Susan Waldman and Dave Simmons.
New York, live from the greatest city in the world, the greatest sports talk station ever created, WFAN. We're taking calls. We're just passing time. You know, the Mets are off, the Yankees are off, the Knicks are off. So we got to fill this airtime with your thoughts, your takes, my thoughts, my takes, and conversation to just get us through the night. Sun is going down, and I mean, if I wasn't working, I'd be going to sleep. I'm so antsy. I'm so ready for this. I just hit my Instagram story at 7:20. I'm going to have a wild 24 hours. You know how the Instagram story keeps your 24 hours? I'm going to have a wild 24 hours, 30 hours. When I leave here, I'm going to try and go to bed. I know I'm not going to be able to go to bed. That's okay. I'm going to plan some stuff for tomorrow. When I get up, after we get the baby situated and my wife on her way to work, I got to leave early. I can't tell you exactly what I'm doing, but I have a special interview with a special person in the morning that I'm super pumped and excited about. And then after I do that, I think I want to slide to the opening of Kith, or the reopening of Kith on Lafayette. I used to live around there. It was right down the street from the MLB Fan Cave in 2014. I used to pop in there when it was more of the little store. And then I'll slide back to Jersey, get my car, drive all the way to the Bronx, park, get to Yankee Land, and then it's all the way up as Mets fans and Yankee fans all just get off the trains and get off the buses and park their cars in the lots and just start to fill up the streets and get ready for the Subway Series, man. It is going to be a movie in New York City as people will be moving around and going to Madison Square Garden. Unfortunately, NJ Transit has some issues going on. That doesn't help, but there's going to be more cars and more people finding alternative routes. And yeah, it's not even the summer yet, but it feels like a preview to the summer. Hopefully the weather is good. I think, pray for weather. I think the rain that was in the forecast is starting to disappear some. So just looking forward to a Friday night. And again, my message tonight is look out for one another. Take care of one another. This city is crazy. not everybody is having a good time. Not everybody is enjoying the sports in their teams and going out, and some people are looking to cause harm and have a bad time. Look out for those people, protect other people, and then also look out for your people that might be too hyped up, too crazy, might have had too many drinks. Like, hey, let's make sure everybody has fun and gets home safe. 888-808-1019. Let's get into it right now. Mikey O in Elmwood Park, you're first up on the Fan. Mikey. Mikey O, no. All right, we'll put Mikey O on hold. Let's go out to Staten Island. Sharif, you got it. You're on.
Hey, what's going on, Keith?
In there. How are you?
I'm good, man. Y'all, I don't know. I don't know if it takes genius to put this, but me personally, White, I would have Bridges all over him, like run everywhere where he goes. Don't play nobody else, and have OG on Brown. Like I don't know how I always keep on seeing Brunson guarding Brown. How is that possible?
Zone, and also just him having the ball and him being up top. I mean, I could see them going man some. I think you're gonna this game.
Even go at high school, go boxing one. Just have him running with him everywhere else, and then whoever's around Brown, cover Brown. Those two guys just can't be the ones that beat you.
Right, and I think I meant to say this last night, and I didn't have time. I know for a fact with Tibbs, they study film. The players have talked about it. So I guarantee you today they have looked at that film and they have a plan of attack. And the series is about adjusting to what happened the game before. The Celtics are going to throw some new wrinkles at them. They're going to have some plans to stop the Celtics now because we're adjusting to the Celtics without Tatum now, right? The Knicks have the same guys.
And tomorrow night, the key is the first quarter. They can't have them go again 4 for 4 in the first quarter.
Yeah. I mean, you want to land the first punch. You want to be the team that comes out with urgency on fire. Thanks for the call, Reef. But, again, it is a series. This is the 6th game of the series. You're playing the same team over and over again, except now this team doesn't have Tatum. I saw a lot of pundits and people going out there talking about what the Celtics are now without Tatum. Amazing glazing. I don't understand it. I do understand it. And that's why I came in here with New York pride and being in New York for all these years and understanding things here that people on the outside don't understand. Like, they hate on the Knicks. They hate on New York City. They don't want to see the fans partying out there. They don't want to see the Knicks win. And now there's all these takes about how somehow the Celtics are better without Tatum. Are you drunk? Like, they came out motivated, sure. They came out with some energy, sure. But that was, in honor of Tatum. Okay, can they muster that up again? I'm not going to say that they're better. I'm not going to look at Jaylen Brown all of a sudden. Jaylen Brown is a goofy, man. Some of the stuff he was doing out there, like now all of a sudden Jaylen Brown is a star. Let's not forget. Nobody forgot. We know who he is. We've seen them for years fail. If Kristaps Porzingis doesn't get his win back and doesn't get right, I don't think that they can beat a healthy Knicks team in their building, motivated, playing with their hair on fire, right? Because this team doesn't respond well when they win. They need to have some adversity. They need to come off a loss. Have you seen the Knicks lose back-to-back games? I don't expect to see the Knicks lose back-to-back games. I just don't. I don't. Mikey O, are you ready now? Elmwood Park. Mikey O, you're on the Fan.
Hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yo, you got me now, Keith?
Loud and clear.
Okay. Yo, this is Mikey O.
Right.
The opening day. You remember your Louis?
Yeah, Mike. I wasn't gonna hang up on you, and I appreciate it. I still have that Louis Seal card. You saw I put it right in my jacket. You out there tomorrow? You out there this weekend?
Yes, man. Yes, I want to talk to you about that real quick.
Okay.
So, all right, Solo's coming back, right? Okay. Now you are a 203 Hall of Famer as well, right? Now, in your opinion, there are several options of how we can welcome him out there in the bleachers, right? What do you think about it? I mean, the F1 Soto is going.
Not from us. Not from any of the actual creatures.
Now, well, I think the stadium is going to probably do them
Right. You'll hear it maybe from 204. You might hear it from left field. You might hear it from 100 level, 200 level. But as far as the actual creatures go, they never did the F Altuve. Yeah, because it's a family vibe now. There's some older folks, there's some kids. Some of the older folks are bringing younger kids. It's more of a family vibe. We try to tell people to watch their mouth. You can only do so much.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, this happened years ago when I was in the blue seats in Madison Square Garden. Okay, you know, we knew, you know, when families are around, you gotta police yourself and make sure that people around you aren't, you know, just getting loaded and going off and you know, yelling things that shouldn't be said.
It's the same type of dudes every time chanting F Altuve that will probably be chanting F Juan Soto. Here's what I think we'll see from the bleachers. Something funny. You'll hear some clever things. There might be some props. I remember when the Astros came back, security took all our props. We had trash cans. We had inflatable trash cans. We had signs. They took all of our stuff. And it was only 10% of us, but we were prepared to, like, you know, do some funny things to make fun of the cheating Astros and Altuve. With Juan Soto, I've seen a couple things in the creatures chat. I won't reveal them, but it'll be in good taste.
Yeah, right. Okay, well, because again, out there, you know, those are his people. Remember that
Past tense. Was
stadium.
Mike, I'll see you tomorrow, bro. Thanks for the call. I'll say this with the Juan Soto reception. And please don't lump in everything that you hear as, oh, those are the bleacher creatures. No, that's coming from the bleacher creatures in right field. Like, I'm telling you, it's not. I'm telling you that the bleacher creatures, they're not going to give a roll call to Juan Soto. They're also not going to cheer and applaud him. They don't care about him hitting a home run to send us to the World Series. We did not win the World Series. The bleacher creatures and the conversations that go on in the bleachers, like, from what I know, there are some things that are going to be planned to be chanted or said. And I think that 203 has the strongest chance to be heard with something funny or clever. Boos are the simplest level of just like, it doesn't take much to boo and join in on a boo. Juan Soto comes out, boo. Now batting, number 22, Juan Soto, boo. F Juan Soto, you've heard that already from Mets fans showing up to Yankee Stadium wearing Juan Soto jerseys, and then people break out into the F Juan Soto chant. You will probably hear that tomorrow, but that is not clever. That is not in good taste. I'm not saying don't do it. I'm not going to be joining in on it. I didn't join in on it anytime at the stadium, but that's such a low-level thing. Now, I understand people are trying to get together things about Trent Grisham or whatever, but, like, it's hard to do. If you didn't buy a group package of 20 people to sit in one section and do it, how are you just going to get a bunch of strangers to join in? I don't know. I don't think it's that simple. Eddie is in Brooklyn on the Fan next. What's up, Eddie? Eddie, you're on. Come on, guys. A 1, a 2, a 3. All right, we'll put Eddie on hold. You know, the show just started, so some people, they hit the number fast. I say the number fast to, you know, get my calls in, but Eddie just hung up. Maybe he'll call back. And the other thing with Juan Soto out there, like Mikey O just said, those were his people. And that's something you got to understand too. There's a feeling of betrayal. There's a feeling of, we gave you everything. Remember, Keith McPherson told you that Juan Soto was boo-proof. No one is boo-proof. No one. They booed everybody. They booed Jeter. I was there when they booed Hal Steinbrenner on Derek Jeter night. They booed Judge. They booed Garrett Cole. And no one is boo-proof. Juan Soto was. Not anymore. 888-808-1019. Not anymore. So now when you come back after we did not boo you all year, and I think that's like, he didn't really give us an opportunity. He didn't give us a terrible performance to boo. He had some mistakes in the outfield, but hey, people let it slide because they're like, hey, we want him to come back. We want him to feel welcome. He got the loudest roll call. He could come out and do no wrong in right field. As soon as he skipped over that line and came out, people stood up out of their chairs, clapped, put their hands up, wanted him to throw the ball. All that is gone. All that is gone. Now you're going to understand, like, you chose the other side. You're an enemy now. And you could have been with the enemy in Boston. You could have been with the enemy in Toronto. You specifically chose to stay in the city. Now you're going to see how it is to be on the other side. It's that simple. Daryl's out in Queens. Next up on the fan. What's up, Daryl? Oh boy. I guess I'll just do the show, guys. I don't have a co-host. I don't have callers ready to run. Let's see. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. I think I'm 0 for the last 2. The next person I go to, I'm gonna say your name, and that's gonna give you that like little bit of time between the delay to be like, okay, he's coming to me, and then you're on. Let's go to Dan in New Jersey on the fan. Dan, you're the man on the fan. 1, 2, 3. What's up, Dan?
Not much. How we doing?
Thanks for the call.
Always, man. So I'm talking about Volpe. I know a lot of people have been ripping him on the radio recently. He's getting there. I know a 240 average is not what we want, but I think he'll be 260, 270 at the end of the year, maybe 20 home runs, 60 RBIs, maybe 20, 30 some bases. What do you think, Keith?
Yeah, I know. So, I mean, I don't know exactly who you were talking about that's been ripping him. I know some people on Yankees Twitter just a few weeks ago were calling for him to be benched or him to get a day off. And I remember betting on him specifically to homer, and he hit the first homer in that series against Toronto. And I was like, there he is. And what had happened was we had the off day on the 24th, and then we had the postpone that game that got postponed when it didn't really rain. So Volpe ended up getting some natural off days, and that helped him. Listen, I don't know why people think he's going to be Ellie De La Cruz. I don't know why people think he's going to be Gunnar Henderson or Bobby Witt Jr. I do know why, but he's not. He is a good glove. He is coming along, and like, yeah, he's going to frustrate you at times, but ultimately, thanks for the call, Dan. Ultimately, he's just turned 24 a couple weeks ago. He is providing more good than bad. He has proven it multiple times. We are just looking for the consistency, and the Yankees have a long leash on him to find that consistency. As I go to just the last couple games, right? I know people want to, there's always got to be a whipping boy. I say that a lot, right? There's always got to be one guy to say, this guy. When they have like the best offense, the best, we've found guys like Trent Grisham and Ben Rice and Paul Goldschmidt this year that none of us were talking about this winter to be what they are. When we actually have guys like that, you still have to find Anthony Volpe and point to him. His 240 average, like if I click on, I'm going to the box score right now because I just already know what I'll find. And when you go to MLB and you click on the box score, right, his 240 average goes up a little bit when you look at his last 15 games. He's actually hitting 281 in his last 15 games. He's got 15 hits, a homer, 7 ribbies, and 8 walks. When he's working his walks is when he's going better because that means he's not swinging at everything. He's waiting on his pitch. If you remember how he started off the season last year, he's got to get back to that. And even this season, he had a good start. But, man, the way he started off last year, it was like he was spitting on pitches. He was waiting for his pitch. And when he found one, he was hitting a rocket. Like, we were comparing his numbers to Mookie Betts. But, yeah, don't look at Volpe's overall and get some of the older stuff, refresh your information. Even in his last 7 games, he's batting .259, 7 hits, a homer, 3 ribbies, 444 slug, almost 400 on base percentage. Like, in this offense, in this lineup, we're all right with that. 888-808-1019. Bob out on Staten Island on the fan in New York. What's up, B.O.B.?
Hey, what's up? Bob Digital here.
Bobby Digital.
Oh, yeah. Now you guys talking Soto. I have a Soto prediction. I think we're going to see the first Soto shuffle of the year this weekend. He is ready to explode at Yankee Stadium like he used to.
I mean, I don't know why he stopped doing the shuffle. That falls into him not feeling himself, him not being comfortable, maybe him having regrets about being the Met. Oh, don't say that. He loves being a Met.
You can't say that. And I got a conspiracy theory for you.
Okay.
At Citi Field, we do the mascot races. The Bronx have not won a single mascot race, and they never will.
No way. The Bronx hasn't won a single race. We've played some 40 games. They haven't won a. Why is that? Why are they doing the Bronx dirty?
Because the Bronx stinks.
Oh my! They get a giraffe. They put him in a dirty white tee. They make his eyebrows the mad eyebrows, and then they make him a loser. He's over. I'm a loser. They made the Bronx a mad giraffe in a dingy white tee, and he can't win a single race. That's petty as hell. You know when he'll win? He'll win when the Yankees go there in July 4th weekend for the Subway Series on that side. Maybe not. I don't know. Aiden is in New Hope, Pennsylvania on the Fan next. Hit me, Aiden. What are you talking about?
Hey, Keith.
You got it.
I know the Knicks are resilient. We obviously saw that coming out of, I believe, what was it, Game 3. My worry, but I believe the Knicks have it in them to win Game 6, and I hope to God they will for my mental sanity. But my worry is that the Celtics live and die by the 3, and when you come out in the first quarter and you got Derek White hitting 4 or 5 threes, it's a little bit hard to come back from, even though they have. So my hope for the Knicks for Game 6 is that they come out with a strong stance on the three-point line, let them beat us inside, put Cat and Mitch in there, and beat us that way. But I really hope to see the Knicks play tougher defense around the three-point line, even though that's been a struggle this year, and also have, maybe not so much foul trouble early into the game, causing, nobody want to go Cat not go right down the middle, barrel over somebody. But I would be lying if I said I wasn't a little worried about game 6.
You should be worried. Thanks for the call, Aiden. You should be worried. And I'm not about to tell y'all to act like you've been there, because you have been to the second round and been eliminated the last few years. But have a little bit of a way about you. Have a little bit of confidence in your team. Have a little bit of New York swagger about you. You know what I'm saying? Carry yourself with a little bit more aura. Jalen Brunson is not going to let you down. The rest of these guys will rise. And they've shown you it doesn't matter how the game starts. It matters how the game ends. It's going to be a different looking game. I'm sure they're going to continue to chuck up shots. Derek White, Jaylen Brown, Al Horford, all of them. They're going to try and shoot threes. Drew Holiday, Peyton Pritchard. But I think that the Knicks are going to empty the pail. I think the Knicks are going to play like there is no tomorrow. I think the Knicks are going to come out and set a tone that Madison Square Garden is going to react to. A lathered up Madison Square Garden at 8 p.m. The game never starts on time, so 8:10, 8:15 p.m. And by the time we get to 9, 10 o'clock, it's going to be crazy in there. And you're going to be able to feel the celebration coming. You're going to be able to feel the Knicks putting their foot on these guys' neck, actually, which they couldn't do in Boston. But I think everybody's going to know that it's closing time. That's it. And if those shots aren't falling and the Knicks are doing what they got to do, it's going to be Knicks in 6. 888-808-1019. Let's take a break right here. In about a half an hour, I have my first guest coming up, Joe Vardon, who covers the NBA for The Athletic. So we will talk Knicks, but we'll also look at the Pacers and the Timberwolves and OKC and the Nuggets, and just really start thinking about the Knicks ending this in 6 and going on to the conference finals for the first time in 24 years. This is Keith McPherson on The Fan. We'll be back right after this. I got a tickle in my throat. I need to drink some water. I need to water up. My flow is it's hard to get all those words out without the proper hydration. I need to drink this water so I can get my do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. You feel me? I'm going to bring this out.
Thank you, my brother.
Yeah,
You're
you
the
got
best, man.
I'm bringing this out to the cycles anyway. Okay. I'm going to get to chat in a minute. No doubt. Okay, chat. What they talking about in the chat still? I'm hoping we get some vintage LeMahieu this weekend. Have a strange feeling. I highly doubt that, but I hope he plays well. It's a shame New Jersey Transit is going on strike. Otherwise, I'd come up to the city for Yankees and Knicks. Bro, I was just talking about that. Like, New Jersey Transit is bugging out. This is not the time. I'm about to talk about it now. NJ Transit strike appears likely ahead of midnight deadline. It's going to be ugly. NJ Transit riders are facing massive service disruption. I'll read this on air. This is not great. It's not what you want. What was I about to look up? Oh, NJ Transit stuff. Imagine Mikey goes off. DJ, he can't, man. He's barely walking. He's barely out there. If you guys feel like that, bet on it. I wouldn't put $1 on DJ to do anything. Whatever he can do is great. Demon D, what up? I feel for anybody that may want to take NJ Transit to Penn Station with the looming strike. That's what I used to have to do. I'm going to talk about it. For any that wants to come to Knicks watch party, straight up, you got to drive. Agree with Joshua. Now Soto was great for us and he was awesome here, but the era is over. Yeah. New York state of mind. People riding around playing Nas, playing Biggie, playing Hove, Mobb Deep, Jadakiss, Keith McPherson on the Fan, just talking to fans online, fans in the chat, not my fans, like other fans of New York sports. And one of the conversations is coming up about NJ Transit. Me being from NJ, I said in my open, I used to always try to rally people from my high school area or Monmouth University. The nearest train station is Long Branch, and we would take that hour ride up to Penn Station. And then once you get into the middle of Manhattan, enter at your own risk. You know what I mean? We would just, go anywhere, do anything. And with this NJ Transit strike, it is just not good timing. But, there's an article out earlier today. NJ Transit strike appears likely ahead of midnight deadline. In quotes, it's going to be ugly. NJ Transit riders are facing massive service disruptions as the system barrels like a runaway train toward Thursday's midnight deadline. So, without getting too deep into it, because I don't want to, All I'm saying is just be aware of it. And if you haven't already made alternate plans, do so. But like, that's just going to add more cars. That's just going to add more confusion. That's just going to add another layer to this thing. You know, I'm sure there's a lot of people that were planning on taking the train to Penn Station and walking right into Madison Square Garden, or going to the watch party, or just partying, or just being at a local bar around there in the atmosphere I keep talking about, the ambiance, like, you know, history of what is, you know, about to happen, what's in the air. The Knicks have the chance to clinch for the first time at home since 99, the chance to go back to the Eastern Conference Finals for the first time since 2000. Like, it's literally a once in a lifetime opportunity for the Knick fan. Let's go to Mimit in Brooklyn, back on the fan. What's up, bro?
Bro, listen, tomorrow night we can win this game, 100% celebrate everyone, and I'll explain to you why. Listen, before the series even started, I already felt that the Knicks were going to win, because I know that the Knicks, when it comes to urgency, they show us that they could do it. Why? Because one of the last games before the playoff season started, that was an urgent game for the Knicks. That was right before the playoffs, and that was the Celtics, and they played a cold game. So these Knicks, when they are under pressure, when they do good, this is one of the reasons why they do good on the road. Because when they're under pressure, when they got to do it, they come through and they pull through. And this is why tomorrow they don't want a game 7, and they know that it's going to be tough. They still can eliminate them. They're going to do it tomorrow night and get it done for us, because they do good under pressure. And when it comes down to the bottom and when they have to do it, they do it for us.
Correct.
Celebrate.
Thanks for the call. That's how I feel. I said it last night. I just feel like these guys, they knew that game wasn't going their way. They didn't have the intensity to match the intensity of the Celtics. That third quarter was the whole game. And then what are you supposed to do in the third quarter? Your best player's out of the game. They shoot a lot better. They don't turn the ball over. You can't hit your shots. And that's all she wrote. But in the back of your mind, we're getting on this plane anyway. We're going back to New York anyway. And Friday it's up. And there's obviously a little bit of competition between, tickets and attention and where you're going to go. But it's the playoffs. The Knicks on the precipice of history. Like, it's a hotter ticket. It's, you can't fit as many people in there as you can Yankee Stadium. But like, all the attention is really going to be there. There is just obviously a little bit more attention on the Subway Series because of Juan Soto. And again, it's funny because people think I'm like obsessed with Juan Soto. No, I'm obsessed with sports. I'm obsessed with the scripts and the narratives that play out in sports, because I don't watch dramas. I don't watch Netflix. I don't watch scripted television. I watch sports. So when there is a villain like this, right, a guy that turned heel, you could say, like a guy that was traded for by the Yankees, went to the World Series with the Yankees showed him the Yankee way and what it was like to be a Yankee, and he wasn't impressed. He saw it and he said, I'm all about the Benjamins. Like, I'll stay, but like, you can't be outbid. If there's a higher bid, I'm out. And the Yankees got to the point where they're like, this is enough. If $760 million isn't enough to be a Yankee, it isn't being a Yankee that you want. You want the most money. So you were always going to the highest bidder. You were always going to the richest owner in the sport. Enjoy. Be well. It worked out for both sides. Max Fried has been great. And you know what? I like that the Yankees lined it up where Max Fried is going to pitch Sunday. Ryan Yarbrough, we skip his start. It's going to be Rodon, Schmidt, Fried. I feel good about that. And it just goes back to what I've been saying since the Juan Soto signing. That, now with this character that exists and what he said and what a lot of the fans have said, like, don't take that out of it either. It's not all on Juan Soto. A lot of it comes from the Met fan. We're Big Brother now. Steve Cohen is the new George Steinbrenner. We're taking over the city. The city's under new management. We're making a dynasty. We swept y'all last year. Like, all of that added to this, I think the Yankees are going to take these games a little more serious than just mid-May games. I think this is going to be a postseason environment. I think you're going to see both teams play up. They're both good teams. It's going to be fun. And if you like baseball, if you like New York sports, if you're a diehard Met fan, diehard Yankee fan, then you're going to want to be in the building, or you're going to want to be at home in your man cave or laid up or wherever you're going to be to not miss a pitch. So 888-808-1019. When I come back, I got to take all of these calls and then get out of the way so we can bring in my first guest. This is Keith McPherson on The Fan. I'll be right back.
Oh.
Oh, yeah. Appreciate it. After sunburn tomorrow night in Manhattan, somehow I double watching the Knicks. And listen, what's up, man?
Dude, I'm losing. Good problem to have, but I'm losing too much weight. My clothes aren't fucking fitting.
Yeah, so now you got to go shopping for summer outfits because you're going to put them on and you're not going to look the way.
Well, the thing is, All right. I will see you next week.
All right, go home safe.
Thank you.
Have a good weekend.
As well.
Yeah. 8 o'clock rock. Another thing going on in the city this weekend, or really, for the Subway series, the World Trade Center is going to host a free watch party. So if you can't get up to the Bronx, if you don't want to spend $175 plus on a ticket, the Oculus down there outside, they'll have a screen showing the games, and I'm sure there'll be a lot of fans downtown. Keith McPherson on the fan. Let's take these calls. I have a guest coming up in about 10 minutes. So, I got a full rack of calls. I'll get as many in as I can. But after I talk to my guest from like 8:15 to 8:30, it's Joe Vardon, who covers the NBA for The Athletic. We'll get back to the phone so that we could hear from you. I'm not on until after the Mets and Yankees play. I'm not on until after Game 6 tomorrow night. So let's get back to it. Steve is in Pine Brook, New Jersey. What's up, Steve?
Hey, Keith. First of all, Josh Hart is going to be the X factor for the Knicks. I think everyone knows that his ability to make or miss shots will probably determine the outcome of Game 6. But besides that, I want to talk about what if Yankee fans just decided not to acknowledge, Soto's at bat, Soto being in right field, and just
Then the Mets fans would take over the building. It would sound like Citi Field.
what do you think the realistic ratio would be of Yankee to Mets fans? I'm hoping it'll be at least 3 or 4 to 1.
Yeah, there's just no way. And I've talked through it, and people have said, be quiet, don't acknowledge. Tiki Barber's been saying, turn your back. I'm like, I never turn my back to the field. Like, it's just not a thing. It's just not something that you could get people to do. We're not all listening to WFAN. We're not all coming together. Like, individuals are going to react how they want to react. Wouldn't it be something if we could stage Yankee Stadium to all turn their backs and be silent? That would be something out of an actual movie. In reality, that can't happen.
Right, because you're feeding into the guy's ego if you boo him, and I think he'll probably feed off of that. I think the most impactful sound would be nothing. That's my take. Like you said, not everyone listens to WFAN, and it'll be hard.
Even if it's just not possible. It's an outdoor stadium. Thanks for the call, Steve. Like, people are drunk. People are also mad. People are also crazy. Some people just in there clapping and getting ready for a baseball game anyway. You can't feed into Juan Soto's ego. His ego is the size of the apple they raise in Citi Field. The guy said there's going to be 50,000 fans versus 1. When he talked to John Heyman, he said there's going to be 50,000 fans versus 1. It made me laugh because I'm like, 50. There wasn't even 50,000 fans at the World Series, Juan. What are you talking about, bro? What are you talking about? Like, I think you're a little confused. And like, Mendoza gave him the day off, and today, like, here's a mental health day and a rest day, because Carlos Mendoza knows stadium's going to be wild. It's going to be crazy, but like, it's all in good fun, man. Like, nobody's going to throw anything at him. Nobody's going to hurt him. He's going to get booed. He might hear F. Juan Soto. So what? It creates an environment and an atmosphere, and there is no environment where fans are quiet in there. Like, I cannot wait for tomorrow so we can stop the nonsense about like what we should do. I'm telling you guys what's going to happen. I've been telling you guys for months what's going to happen. I've been to enough games. Where there are, Boston Red Sox, or the Astros are probably the best example, right? Like, the fans that chanted cheater, cheater, that's such a low level chant as well. But like, there is no silent treatment. There is no turning your back. And it all feeds into his ego. He's the highest paid player in the sport. He has the biggest ego in the sport. Boo his ass. It's okay. Bart is in New Brunswick. Bart, you're up next.
Morning, sir.
How's it going?
I'm good. I'm just curious, like, I haven't heard anybody address this, that with Al's payroll constraints, if Soto did come back to the Yankees, who's not there that they brought in?
Probably don't have Max Fried. Probably don't have Cody Bellinger. Probably don't have Paul Goldschmidt. Probably don't have Devin Williams. Maybe not even Fernando Cruz. It would be pretty bare bones. They would have had a complete different strategy of how to fill out the roster. And you know what? I'll say this. You just made me think of something. Thanks for the call, Bart. If Juan Soto performed with the Yankees, the way he performed with the Mets, like he just came off an 0 for 11, his ass would have been getting booed in Yankee Stadium in pinstripes. When Judge turned down the contract in 2022 to start the season, fans booed him. They told him you should have taken the money. They couldn't have been more wrong. Fans are fanatical, irrational. Fans are going to fan. So what would the Yankees have done? That's why I said it worked out for everyone. The Yankees had more holes in the lineup and in the rotation and in the roster than just Juan Soto. Judge moving back to right, this outfield has been much improved. We didn't know what Trent Grisham was going to be. It all worked out for both sides. It's all right. And his production that many people were saying, oh, Goldie and Belly are going to have to replace his production. It has been replaced by just Goldie. It has been replaced by just Trent Grisham. It has been replaced by just Ben Rice. Put them all together, the Yankees are better. In the Bronx, let's go to Rashad next on the Fan. What's up, Shot?
Hey, well, good evening, good evening. So before I get to my next point, I do want to say something about the Subway Series, because I noticed that Clay Holmes won't be starting this weekend. It's going to be Miguel, Peterson, and the three starters for the Mets. So if Holmes were to start this weekend, will he have gotten booed? Not as much as Juan Soto, obviously, but we got booed somewhat if him starting.
He might have caught some stray boos, but you know what? We didn't want Clay Holmes. we were happy to see him go. He was terrible. He was getting booed as a Yankee last year. He was coming out of the pen, and people were like, come again.
Yeah, and the funny thing is, because Clay Holmes, he's looking like, I won't say a Cy Young caliber pitcher, but he's looking like a very good starter.
Hell, we would, if we would have turned him into a starter, we could use him in this rotation, but we wanted him gone, and the Yankees weren't thinking about that. Props to the Mets. They had the foresight to say, hey, this guy's got some stuff. We can put him in the pitching lab and turn him into an ace. He's been great.
Yeah, I don't know what the Mets got in the pitching lab, because it seems like any pitcher they get off the street becomes a legit pitcher. Like Griffin Cannon, I don't know how they made him
No one knows. No one. We laughed. I was on air when they signed Griffin Canning. I forget what other pitchers were on the free agent market, but we laughed. Like, why does David Stearns do this? Like, who was looking at Griffin Canning for $4.6 million?
Yeah, but he looked like a legit starter. Now to my next point. So I believe the Knicks get it done tomorrow, because the Celtics, let's be honest, that was the best game they probably played all season and definitely all playoffs. That was the best game on both sides of the ball they played. And I believe they gave everything they had left in the tank to win that game last night. And Knicks will catch them. Maybe they might not have that energy tomorrow.
I doubt it. I highly doubt that they will be able to carry the emotion that they had on their home floor, doing it for their fallen teammate in front of their fans, and the pride of, hey, we're the Boston Celtics. Look up there at all the banners. We're not losing on this floor tonight. Thanks for the call. Yeah, Clay Holmes is not somebody that will draw the ire of a Juan Soto either, because of his contract. Like, it wasn't a lot of money. Like, it's a way different thing. I was trying to think of, like, I saw somebody, I think, MLB Elite on Instagram. They put out the clip of Robinson Cano's first game back with the Mariners. And a lot of us, myself included, wanted Robinson Cano to come back. But, like, it's so different. He's coming back with the Mariners. He didn't stay in town. He eventually became a Met. But, like, they posted and they're like, oh, this is what the boos are going to sound like for Juan Soto. I'm like, no, they're not. They're going to be much louder. There's going to be much more vitriol and much more just, like, emotion than, Robinson Cano, who was homegrown, who did win a championship and then went and took the money. And that's another thing I think is funny, too. Met fans trying to tell the Yankee fan, why do y'all care? He was only with y'all for 1 year. Okay. Okay. You about to see. You about to see. You about to see how people react to a Yankee, a former Yankee, going to the Mets and basically telling Yankee fans that everything that they were brought up on, everything that they believe about the Yankees versus the Mets is not true. I got to take a break. We'll get back to it. If you're on hold, stay on hold. Coming up next is Joe Vardon, who covers the NBA for The Athletic. We're going to talk hoops. Keith McPherson on the Fan, BRB. All right, we're going to talk basketball. NBA. uh, Yankees fans are not happy with what Soto did. That's it. Simple and plain. You had a year with us and you scoffed at it. You basically looked at what the Yankees are, which is like everybody says the best in baseball, and you said, I don't care. I want the most money. So go over there and take the most money and we'll act like it never happened. He's been great. I wanted Goldie out of all the options, and I'm glad that he has been great. I might have to cop these. How much are these? These will match my son. Oh, that's fine. Yeah, that's fine. He doesn't have to join. We'll keep it rolling. People will call up as soon as I come back and say, hey, we didn't get him, but I'll ask you what I was going to ask him, and I'll just start talking. Chad, I'm about to show you the kicks that I was looking at. I need some kicks to match my Somerset Patriots hat and my Somerset Patriots hat and jersey that they sent me. And I need to order them fast because the game is coming up. I mean, I got hella kicks, but this is the like exact colors. And then I'll show you the Diners jersey. Okay, so that's the kicks, and this is the jersey I'm trying to match him with. Kicks, ready? Jersey. Kicks, jersey. Come on. I might have to punch that. They're $120, but there's a discount to get them for $100 plus free shipping. Might have to see what's good with that. If I order them tonight, they should get here by next week for the game, or 2 weeks. I got 2 weeks to get them. I might have to make that happen, yo. Might have to make that move, yo. I'm looking at. I always go to Kick Deals on Twitter. They always have a lot of fresh kicks and a little bit of a discount. Oh, those rare air threes that are coming out are tough. Yeah, it's okay. Thanks. Okay. We've got good news and bad news. You want the good news first? Of course you do. Good news is it's wide open for calls again, 888-808-1019. Bad news is we couldn't get my guest on the line, but that's okay. I'll just have the conversation with myself, and maybe you'll join in. Keith in Franklin Square, you were smart, because I always say if you're on hold, stay on hold. You're going to be the first up. So I was going to talk to Joe Vardon, who talks about NBA basketball and writes about NBA basketball, about just the playoffs in itself and where we are. There's a lot of people that want to say that the Knicks now are America's team, and I don't feel that way, because I watch a lot of this stuff and I'm like, man, they are always hating on the Knicks. So much so that they will not get off the Celtics. There's still a lot of pundits that think that this is going to be a 7-game series, and that if the Celtics can win tomorrow night, they're not going to lose in their building, even without Jason Tatum. Like I talked to you in my open, I think it was Emmanuel Acho who came up with this whole thing about how Jaylen Brown is a leader, and then like KD even responded to him and basically told him to fall back. But, you know, the way I look at the Knicks is, you know, they're, and I even heard this in Loogie's open, and I think Connor might have helped Loogie put this together. You know, was it Reggie Miller saying like the Knicks think they're God's gift to basketball? No, they don't. Was that's who it was, Connor? Sounded like Reggie Miller's voice. And obviously we know why he's a Knicks hater for obvious reasons. But like the Knicks players don't think they're God's gift to basketball. You think Jalen Brunson carries himself like that? An underdog, undersized guy who was overlooked, a guy that took less money. You think he carries himself like that? You think Mikal Bridges carries himself like that? Mikal Bridges is not like that at all. He's a good player, but like he doesn't carry himself like he's God's gift to basketball. Who on their team? No, you think that because you can't handle the fans. And you know what? A lot of times fans and the way that fans talk about their team and the way fans put things out on social media, it gets absorbed as, oh, that's the image of the team. I watched the Knicks in the post game. You can't tell a lot of times whether they won or lost in these series because they're not celebrating anything. Job's not finished. They're not getting ahead of themselves. OG Anunoby doesn't act like he's God's gift to basketball. OG Anunoby makes the most money on the team. He's not pulling up in a fancy outfit. He doesn't have any Kith gear. He doesn't have any designer, Gucci, anything. He's just in a Knicks hoodie and Knicks sweatpants. Like, I think there's just this hate on the Knicks, and I've said this a few times because people on the outside feel like the Knicks fandom and the Knicks fan base, which is huge because it's New York and they've been here forever, almost as if like the Knicks fandom and fan base doesn't match the Knicks history, which it hasn't. But now it's starting to come together. Now the Knicks are looking like they have, you know, a team that the fan base can be so excited about, partying in the streets, rallying around as they're trying to fight their way back to the Eastern Conference Finals and Finals. Okay, my guest is here. Let's go right now to Joe Vardon, who writes for The Athletic, covering the NBA. Joe, are you there?
The wonderful metropolis, which I will probably be at next week, assuming the Knicks get this done. My son had an end of 8th grade thing that ran a little long, but here I am and ready to go.
Understood. Congratulations to your son on whatever the achievement or celebration was. We understand. And I didn't even talk anything bad about you. I didn't talk down on you, but I'm sure some people might have been thinking this is another one of those media members that hates the Knicks. Do you hate the Knicks? Better yet, what was your prediction for this series? What did you have? Celtics in how many games?
Oh my gosh. Well, okay. So I'm lucky insofar as I never said I didn't have to make a prediction like that. Like the Athletic is kind of not in that business. But oh my goodness, of course I was one of the talking heads. Like, oh yeah, this is the Celtics all the way. I just, I've seen the Knicks play a bunch of times, and I knew their record against the Celtics, Cavs, and Thunder. And didn't like sort of how the team looked with Cat instead of Julius and DiVincenzo, and yeah, just didn't see this coming. I covered Brunson with Team USA the year that he went to the World Cup, and Bridges was on that team too, but he was a net at the time. Really liked those guys, but just thought Boston would have too much, and what's happened instead is, as everybody knows, Boston's gotten up in some of these games and gotten cute with their offense, and you can't do that against Jalen Brunson. You start jacking up threes and stop moving the ball. You leave the door open, and Jalen is a guy that's going to walk right through it, run right through it. And that's what he did. And, so now they still have 2 chances left to close this thing out.
Yeah, they didn't look like a good matchup when you were going off of the regular season series. Even the thought of the Knicks not being able to defend the three well and the Celtics shooting threes at an all-time pace. And none of that matters when you get into a series. None of that matters when you get into the playoffs. It's a different energy. And the Knicks were able to steal the first 2 games of this series almost in identical fashion. Now where we are, it's just crazy that this is all the same series. Tatum goes down. They lose to the Celtics in game 5, and we get what looked like the best Celtics effort from start to finish. And so I think there are some Knicks fans that are worried a bit. I still think that the Knicks close them out. I think you got their best shot. I think it was an emotional best shot, but I think it's hard for them to travel back to New York in the Garden away from their building and then, conjure that up again and rally the troops again when the Knicks know that they're, 48 minutes from advancing to the Eastern Conference Finals, making history, and then sending the city into a frenzy and all those viral videos, like they're going to hit another level. I just think it has to happen in 6. And I think that the Knicks are going to leave everything out there. And Brunson, like you mentioned, him fouling out and him waving at the camera, and even in his post game, he had a look about him that he's like, okay, see you in New York.
Yeah, he did. And again, Bridges is playing at a different level, I think, than he had reached with the Knicks during the regular season. I have a couple thoughts about this, though, about what's to come. With Porzingis struggling with his illness the way that he is, I think you want, obviously, regardless who's out there, you want to get this done in game 6. But specifically, let's get Cat going here. I would like to see him really kind of, assert his will on that game. The reason we are where we are is, and any Knicks fan would have to agree with this, is Boston was way up in those first 2 games, and then just almost inexplicably stopped moving the ball, stopped, dribble, penetrate to create the open 3, and just started with the ISO, whether it was Tatum or Brown, and even in game 4, right? Even in game 4 when Tatum went down and he was playing awesome, before he got hurt, the offense had stalled again. And this is something that the Celtics used to do in 2022, 2021, even in 23. Like, they got away from it with Missoula and with the addition of Drew Holiday, and they won an NBA championship by getting the ball out of Tatum and Brown's hands in the clutch.
Yeah.
And what did we see last night? The Celtics ran their offense. They don't have Tatum to sort of rely on to look at him to bail them out. And so they ran their stuff for 4 quarters. Derek White was awesome. Brown was better. Holiday was more involved. We know what happened with Cornette. So that is my concern for the Knicks, is with Tatum out, and this is not a take about them being better with Tatum out, but they are, for a reason that I don't know, they reverted back to some old habits in this series, and I don't know why. But without Tatum last night, they stayed away from those bad habits. And if they can continue that, the Knicks do have, then they're going to have to find an answer. But that is my concern for the Knicks right now.
Sure. We're on the phone right now with Joe Vardon from The Athletic, who covers the NBA. I just think it's a matter of, in the last game, you didn't get a good performance out of Cat, like you said. And I'm rooting for Cat to have a signature performance, because this is going to be a historic game. People will remember this game forever, the game that sends the Knicks back to the Eastern Conference Finals. Cat had a game against the Detroit Pistons. I think it was game 3, which was a signature game that people have forgotten about. Cat hasn't been shooting the 3 in this series. I'd like to see him in the Garden, light up the Garden. I'll probably sprinkle a couple dollars on him to make 4 threes. He's got to find a different gear. And then also, OG Anunoby and Mikal Bridges had a little bit of an off night, and I don't expect that to happen in Game 6 either. So those 3 guys raising their game, you know what you're going to get out of Brunson, you know what you're going to get out of Hart. And then, last but not least, the New York fans and the New York crowd, these ticket prices are in range where, if they drop any more, going towards tomorrow night, you're going to get the real fans in there. I just think there's so much energy to get it done. And the last piece for you, if the Celtics have anything going for them to fire them up in the second game, it isn't so much Tatum. I think now you've kind of moved on from that. I think what they'll rally around is the fact that the Celtics are going to blow up this team. This is going to be the last time a lot of those guys play together if they lose tomorrow night in the Garden. Your thoughts?
Yeah. I think, obviously the Tatum injury really complicates the other decisions that they have. I think Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown are going to be on this team for a long time. And I think I would probably include Derek White in that group. And then, you can talk about Pritchard and those guys. But when you look at Porzingis, it's funny, they won a title with him, but he's had this injury last year and then the illness this year. And then with Tatum going to be out for a year, you look at that. And then Drew was the other piece. The Celtics went to 100 consecutive Eastern Conference Finals or whatever it was, dating all the way back to LeBron in Cleveland, where I still live. And they would always stop there. They didn't have the point guard, then, the Kyrie era, there were some other missing pieces, but then when they moved on from that and got good again, and you had Tatum and Brown handling the ball, that was a problem. So Drew sort of neutralized that. And, he's getting up there in age, and with the, you're looking at a $500 million price tag for the roster. I think there's going to be some hard decisions there in Boston, certainly exacerbated by missing Tatum for the next year.
Now, I want to ask you, because I did look at some of your articles, and you did mention, being in Cleveland, and, they kind of came out of nowhere this year. Them being the number 1 seed, shout out to Kenny Atkinson. I'm a Nets fan, and when the Nets moved on from Kenny Atkinson, I knew it was a bad move. I love Kenny's passion. I thought he was a basketball guy. I thought he could relate to anybody. Anyway, the Cavaliers, they end up just getting hurt. They end up just, not having the bodies, not having the health, and their season comes to an end. But the Pacers, they end up being the beneficiaries back-to-back years of a Knicks team that got hurt and a Cavs team that got hurt. And now they're going to back-to-back Eastern Conference Finals, and they're chilling right now. Their series has been done right now. Do you think that gives them a leg up against the Knicks or the Celtics if need be? I honestly think, and looking at the betting odds, people still think that the Knicks have the best shot. What do you think about the Pacers getting to the finals this year?
I think very highly about the Indiana Pacers.
Yeah,
I really do, and I have problems with either team against the Pacers. The Knicks, as you guys all know very well, Tibbs doesn't play many guys. The Pacers, when we talk about them and you hear things like pace, and they play at a really high pace, and you think, oh, that means that they push the ball on offense. No. they play a college-style game. They press full court, and then they take the ball out of the basket and throw it. They skip past it ahead, and if you miss a shot, then it goes even faster. And they do that all day, and they do that with 9 guys. So the Knicks, I mean, there's like those 7 guys are as tough as any in the league. But they're gonna, they're gonna run the risk of getting run down. And the Celtics, if they somehow come out of this, they're missing Tatum. The Porzingis is not right. So how do you keep up? How do you keep up with the Pacers? Like I would like, Robinson for the Knicks, to be physical and kind of slow the game down a little bit. Brunson is one of those players that can control the tempo of a game as a point guard. Like the Cavs don't really have that. Like that's not really Donovan's game. But I don't really chalk what happened in this series. I don't chalk it up to injuries really. Like the Pacers proved to be the better, deeper, tougher team. And so, obviously, like it's their job, the odds makers, to watch every game, to know these teams in and out. But there's just a certain level of, I don't want to call it lack of respect, but the Pacers are underrated. They are. They're really good. They were 40-15 to close the year. Tyrese is playing well.
You said his name. As soon as you said they're underrated, I'm like, Tyrese Halliburton is somewhere like, give me my respect. I'm not overrated.
That's my guy. I mean, he was on the 23 team with Brunson, and then he was on the Olympic team last year. So, I had him for another year. That overrated thing is crazy. He ain't it. He ain't it.
I got respect for him. I'll say this. I really hope it is Pacers-Knicks rematch. Obviously, the Pacers are living up to their name with their pace of play, but I think there's some bad blood from last year. We want to run it back. And I hope they let his pops come back to the game. And everybody here knows about what Wally Zerbiak had to say about Tyrese Halliburton. Like, I just want that dynamic again. I want that type of smoke. I want that type of energy in the next round, more so than a Celtics team that, honestly, I don't want to see the Celtics without Jason Tatum. I don't want to see the Celtics in the next round without Jason Tatum, a rematch of last year. Anyway, before I let you go here, and, now we've got the Oklahoma City Nuggets game coming on, but I want to ask you about Julius Randle and the Minnesota Timberwolves, who made the big trade with Randle and DiVincenzo sending Cat over here, and the Knicks giving those guys up. I felt like, a couple things I'll say, just throwing flowers at Julius Randle. He mentioned having Kobe as a mentor, Kobe being a girl dad. Julius Randle just had the birth of his first daughter during these playoffs. I feel like he went through a lot when he was here. I remember him posting the image of the Knicks putting up Mikal Bridges' 25 Knick jersey next to Josh Hart, next to Jalen Brunson, next to OG, and not having his jersey up. And he's like, hey, I've been playing here for years. This guy hasn't even played one game. So, love and respect to Julius Randle. I think it's a better fit for him in Minnesota. And in a closeout game, he ended up, really balling last night. And he said going into these playoffs, he finally feels like, this is the year and this is the team that he's playing for something. What do you think about Julius Randle and his fit with the Timberwolves? I know Ant-Man and all those guys needed him over there.
I mean, if he, I forget, I don't remember what his point total was last night, but I know it's high.
He had 29 points last night.
That's right. Okay, so they desperately need that. Like, what you're going to get from Ant. You also know the double coverages that you're going to throw at Ant. So you need a second scorer. And Julius has the credentials to do that. He was able to get off against the Warriors last night. And he's going to be there waiting likely for the Thunder. They're very deep. They're tough. Julius has that toughness in him. The Thunder, assuming they can get by the Nuggets, then they will finally have gotten past the second round. There's still going to be a lack of experience there, but the Timberwolves haven't done it either. So, yeah, it just all comes down to he is their second most important player. And when you figure on the amount of attention that Edwards is going to get, and Julius becomes their most important guy. So yeah, if you're a Nick guy, I can see how you're pulling for him until you get Nick Timberwolves in the finals, then all bets are off.
We're almost there. Joe, you're the man. Thanks for checking in with us. Don't worry about it. We know you had some stuff going on, and maybe we'll talk again if you're coming to New York for Pacers, Knicks, in the Eastern Conference Finals.
Absolutely, got the hotel booked. Just waiting for the Knicks to win to book the flight.
Sounds good, man. Enjoy your night. Thanks for the call.
Thanks, man.
That's Joe Varden from The Athletic covering the NBA. I mean, he says he's got the hotel booked. Book it. Put it in the books. Take it to the bank. Knicks in 6. 888-808-1019. Let's take a break here. When we come back, straight phones, calls. It seems like all the calls now are Knicks, but we do have some Yankees, Mets, Subway Series. We'll do that for at least the next half hour, 40 minutes. And then before we get to 10 o'clock, I do want to give you my take on the Giants schedule and, the first few games. And then also play some audio from Giants GM Joe Schoen on the Fan. This is Keith McPherson on the Fan. I'll be right back. Oh, okay.
Years ago, me and 16 of my closest friends went to Fire Brian Cashman night, and I was wearing a paper.
Okay.
Here's the thing. Oswaldo Cabrera goes down. You know. And I gotta give props right now to Brian Cashman and Aaron Boone, which I never do. I went 2 years ago. Me and 16 of my closest friends went to Fire Brian Cashman night. Yankee fans are going to be angry at Juan Soto. He left them. And they offered him a lot of money. He took minimal.
All right. Home stretch here for the most part. Let me see. See if there's anything I didn't hit on yet. We'll do Joe Schoen and the Giants later. Feels like Game 6 is Game 7. Will Knicks game have a weird effect on Subway Series? Yankees should chant, we have predicted Knicks. Okay, let's see. Know the order that I'm going to go in with these calls. It was a back and forth until I told him you're going to be down with the who he is. Okay. It's ninth. Right back at it on the Fan in New York. I'm on until 10, and there's really only two things to talk about. The Knicks and the Subway Series. Knicks in 6 as we get ready for Madison Square Garden to have a historic game closing out the Boston Celtics, and Juan Soto's return to Yankee Stadium, a 3-game set for the first time since 2021. And the Yankees looking to get a win off the Mets in the regular season for the first time since 2023. Yeah, they got swept last year. They didn't win a game. So let's get back into it. 888-808-1019. Harold is in Atlantic City. Harold, you're on the Fan. Yep, we got you.
Good to talk to you, bro. You're my favorite. Real quick, if being an objective Knicks fan, Game 6 today is Game 7, bro. Like, if you look at the numbers, the Knicks have lost to these guys, I don't know how many quarters, but I would say 90% of the quarters played, with or without.
Yeah. Yeah, they haven't had a lead for long. They have been outplayed for most of the series, but when it matters the most, the Knicks stole the first 2 games and they turned it on in Game 4. They need to turn it on from start to finish. They themselves have said they need to play a full 48 minutes. That's what, Tom Thibodeau was on last night.
Fair enough, but you don't want to go to a Game 7 in Boston because these guys, with or without Jason Tatum, they're a better team than the Knicks. And I'm a Knicks fan saying this.
So then don't go back to Boston. End it on your home floor tomorrow night.
100%. But what did we do to change the narrative in one game? Not going to a game down by 20.
Play defense, hit shots, hope that the officiating is fair, and don't let them get big leads. Like, be the aggressor, be tougher than them, be more physical than them. It seemed like they were trying to take it to the Knicks in the last game.
But we've been saying that. We've been saying that every time they played us, and every time they played us, they've opened up double-digit leads. What can we do different now?
Play defense and hope that shots don't fall. Play defense and hope that they miss shots. They have in this series. Hope that they don't hit these open threes. Don't give them so many uncontested looks. I think that the Knicks are going to come out with the right energy. They might try to get Cat going early. Brunson. They might have a different plan of attack offensively, and the defense has to be much better. And I think that the Celtics now, they're getting more into the flow of their offense because it's not Jason Tatum firing the ball as soon as he gets it. It's not Jason Tatum trying to create his own shot. But I wouldn't fear the Boston Celtics as far as they're a better team. I don't think they're a better team without Jason Tatum against the Knicks. Thanks for the call, Harold. 888-808-1019. I understand the pessimism. I understand a little bit of the panic, the uneasiness. But you have your full complement of players. You have elite players. They put this team together to defeat the Celtics. You're 1 win away from putting them out of the playoffs. You're 1 win away from actually doing it. There is no tomorrow. There is no next year. They got to get it done, Knicks in 6. You don't want to go to Boston. You don't want to go to Game 7. Anything can happen in Game 7. So handle your business in New York. With the whole city behind you, I just don't think these guys they're going to go out there ready to die on the floor. So Ben is in Connecticut, back on the Fan. What's up, Ben?
Hey, how's it going, Keith? So excited to be going to the Subway Series tomorrow night. It's going to be electric. Me and my buddies bought the tickets a while back, and circled the date for a long time to just for the fun of it, like boo Juan Soto, because that's the energy right now. What I was kind of wondering from you is, do you think this? And I was there the electric night when the Knicks, won that game and the stadium was going nuts when they put it on the jumbotron. Do you think the Subway Series will have a little different kind of vibe starting in the 4th inning or 5th inning once the Knicks game starts tomorrow night? Almost like a united Knicks front. What do you think will happen tomorrow night?
Yeah, I talked about it a little last night. I think it could be magical, man. I think the game will matter. That's in front of us because we have great players on both the Mets and the Yankees, first place teams. They're going to be going at it, but it's a regular season game. And there are Knicks fans that are going to be in there wearing Yankees jerseys, Knicks fans wearing Mets jerseys, and Knicks fans just wearing Knicks gear that maybe couldn't get a $600 ticket to Madison Square Garden and instead might have bought their tickets a while ago, had a $100 ticket to Yankee Stadium. I was there the Magic night you speak of. I had never been in there for a situation like that where like the conversation was about the Knicks. Multiple people, myself included, had the game on their phones. We're all conversing about what is going on in Boston. What's going to be magical about this happening tomorrow, if the Knicks handle business and win, or they have a lead, or they're doing well, is like you're going to see the beef and the rivalry between Mets and Yankees fans kind of disappear like it did in Citi Field last year, which I wasn't there, but I heard Loogie talk about it, and I've heard other people talk about it. When the Mikal Bridges trade happened last year, that first game of the Subway Series in Queens, Mets and Yankee fans left the building chanting, "Let's go Knicks" together because they just got the last Infinity Stone, or so they thought.
Exactly. It's kind of funny. Like, we're going with a big group of like eight of my buddies from childhood, and 6 of us are Yankee fans and 2 of us are Mets fans. But it's kind of funny because we're all talking about how, all 8 of us are going to be wearing backwards Knicks hats with our, Yankees or Mets jerseys on. And
that's cool.
One of the things that's kind of funny about this and, being in sort of a dormant New York era that we're in, maybe the longest time without a championship in the 4 major sports, is it's kind of special to now all come together and be like, yo, we finally have a chance to make it to the Eastern Conference Finals and maybe even to the finals of the sport. And obviously the Yankees kind of broke at least the drought of making it to the finals last year with the World Series appearance. But, it's been a long time, man, and it's kind of fun in a way that I've never seen the city come together for a team before, where I know you're a Net fan and a big Net fan, and I respect that because it's your team. But, the city has kind of, vibed around this Knicks team in a way that I haven't seen the city just so united around a team before.
Yeah, thanks for the call, Ben. It'll never be like this for the Nets. The Nets should have stayed in New Jersey and had their own vibe. Like the Devils had their own vibe a couple Fridays ago when they won that game in double overtime, and fans were in the streets in Newark. What I'll say is, and I was talking to someone just now on Instagram about this, right? For you young guys, Ben, like I know you're fresh out of college, and like, I think that's cool as hell. You guys are going to go to the game together. Some of you are Mets fans, some of you are Yankee fans. You're going to wear your baseball jerseys, but wear your Knicks hats. Like that's a dope picture. That's just a dope sight to see. This is your time. That's why I use the Big Mac line. Tonight is your night, bro. Like this is you young guys' time. I was talking to someone in my Instagram comments, and they were like, this is what, the late 90s, early 2000s used to be like in New York when the Yankees dynasty was here. And those couple years where the Mets were good and the Knicks were good and the Rangers were good. Like it just has been a while since New York has been on top like this. And it's healthy. It's great for the city, and it's reflective of the city. That's what it is. It's the greatest city in the world. We're tired of having bum-ass teams. It's the Mecca. It's the center of the universe for so many things and so many people. It's good to have the representation for the national audience to see the first place Mets taking on the first place Yankees with Juan Soto, Aaron Judge, Francisco Lindor, Pete Alonso, Trent Grisham. And then right down the street is Game 6, the defending champion Celtics facing elimination against this Knicks team that's trying to make history going back to the Eastern Conference Finals for the first time in a long time. 888-808-1019. Rick is in Neptune on the Fan. What's up, Rick?
Hey, Keith, how you doing, man?
Good. How are you?
I'm great. I'm a big fan of the show. First-time caller. I actually will never remember this, but I randomly ran into you a couple of years ago at the kickoff the summer show at DJ's. I'm wearing a Vince Carter jersey, and you were wearing a Vince Carter jersey, and you're like, bro, nice jersey. I turn around, I'm like, yo, you too, man. And you're like, Keith McPherson. I'm like, I listened to you on the radio, but I didn't know what you looked like, so I didn't know that was you. And I was like, oh, snap, man.
I remember. No, I remember. It wasn't last year. It was 2 years ago. Yeah.
2 years ago. But yeah, man, we share the same fandom for the most part. I'm a Giants fan, but I'm also Yankees, Nets, and Devils. So I always enjoy your takes, like your take on pretty much like the same teams that I root for. But anyway, just to get to my point, I don't agree with that. With the F Juan Soto chance. Voice your opinion, boo. But I would like to actually throw this out instead of like saying the F1 Soto chance. We should like do a "We have Grisham" or a "We want Grisham" chant, and like maybe that would kind of like hurt Juan's ego. He's going to expect all the F1 Soto chants, but how about we just show our love to somebody else, a guy who was just a throw-in, kind of feels like, in the Juan Soto trade, and right now is having a better season than Juan Soto, and has been an all-star type player in Trent Grisham. So let's just appreciate the guy is killing it, and right now he's better than Juan Soto. We want Grisham. We have Grisham. One of those two chants we should get started.
Thanks for the call, Rick. Good meeting you. I remember meeting a lot of people. I meet a ton of people now, and I mean, it's hard to remember everyone, but like that was very specific, and I remember that happening. I came up to you. It's funny because Evan and Tommy called me last night to say somebody was wearing a Marbury jersey, and I didn't understand why they would be wearing a Marbury Nets jersey in there. And then I thought about it. I'm like, Marbury is from Coney Island. He's been at all these Knicks games. So if you have a Marbury Nets jersey and you wear it to TD Garden where it's Knicks versus Celtics, in a way, you're kind of rooting for the Knicks. And then I saw people mocking the jersey. They were like, what a random jersey. I saw someone say, like, must have got that off the racks at TJ Maxx. I'm like, hell no. That's a Mitchell and Ness authentic jersey sewn on. And it's the gray New Jersey Nets jersey. You can't get those. Like, those are like 135 for the swing man. They're like 250 for the authentic. But anyway, we have Grisham. Why would we do that? Why would we chant we have Grisham? Will we do that when he's in right field? We have Grisham. Like, we know you have. I was on the team with Grisham last year. I also was on the team with him in San Diego. I don't think that's going to really hit. I don't think that's going to do anything. I think he'd laugh like, you can't do better than that. Now, bigging up Trent Grisham, right? If Trent Grisham is starting in center field and that roll call starts, Trent Grisham, make it loud. Make it as loud as you can. I would love to return the favor from last year when a few clowns decided to root for Juan Soto during Grisham's at bat and chant, we want Soto. The captain, Aaron Judge, came out and said he didn't like that. It'd be great if, there was a way to return that favor when he's at bat. We want Grisham, but it doesn't work now. He's on the Mets now. People are going to boo. I don't encourage you to chant F. Juan Soto, but that's such a low-level thing. It's going to happen. I don't know how much it'll pick up, but be more clever than that. Think of some other chants. Think of some stuff that you can yell if you're sitting around the foul pole in right field or in the bleachers in earshot to Juan Soto. Make fun of his mom's sweets or the fact that people think his mom chose the Mets or his mom's clothing allowance. I don't know. I'll think of some stuff and I'll hit you with that when we come back from this break. Keith McPherson on the Fan. It's 9 o'clock. I'm done at 10. Call the show. BRB. Hope the series means a lot more to you. Yeah, can't get swept. Can't lose.
Double back. We're stamping it. It's the Weekly Dumbs official movement.
What the fuck? Checking my DMs. People were sending me anything, yo. I'm gonna hit him with a couple when we come back. But like Trent Grisham, that's just like we have Grisham. Like that's not gonna hit. It's not gonna connect. It doesn't work. He's on the other team. I'm scared of Carlos Rodon, though. I'm not gonna hold you. I'm scared as hell. Rodon blowing it. I am shook. If I'm not gonna lie, like Rodon could be trash. Rodon could be a real problem tomorrow. Ah. I would like that's 100% correct. Like that's kind of like a type of thing because it's like it literally like their biggest defeat was without Tatum. But I would chalk it up more to like Brunson was out of the game and they waved the white flag and like yeah, they had the bench in the game and that's just what happens. I'm gonna chill. You gotta win the series. Yep. Last hour I've got on the fan tonight. And then I'll be at the game tomorrow, and I will join you again after the Yankees post-game show. So get your calls in, 888-808-1019. Before we get back to the conversation around the Knicks, I said I was going to think of some Juan Soto chants. I will not be joining in on the F. Juan Soto chant. I'll probably boo. I just don't understand the Grisham chants as far as, like, they just don't work when he's in right field. We want Grisham. Grisham's on our team. You want him in right field? Even when he's at bat, we want Grisham. Like, you want Grisham to get his. He's probably gonna start at center field. Maybe a we don't want you. We don't need you. That's valid. Or maybe Juan so-so. Juan's a bozo. It was definitely a bozo move going from the Mets to, going from the Yankees to the Mets. That might be valid. But you know what I was thinking too? I was like, just a regular bleacher creature chants are going to really hit tomorrow. I remember those were really hitting until the Mets started hitting. Banana, Mets suck. Banana, Mets suck. Banana, Mets suck. Banana, Mets fans really suck. Banana, Mets fans really suck. Banana, Mets fans really. Come sit in 203. You'll catch a vibe. You'll understand. I remember people thought I came up with that last year. They see the video of us doing the Mets fans suck chant at Citi Field. They blamed it all on me. I'm like, I didn't come up with that. It's regular practice. You guys never sat in right field bleachers? I don't know. Anyway, 888-808-1019. It's going to be a scene. It's going to be fun. People are going to try to get some chants going. I can't wait for it to actually quiet down. If it quiets down, because like, if it does get quiet in between pitches or I don't know, a mound visit and someone just says, "Hey, Juan," and then something to follow. I don't know. Probably something you can't even say on air. But rivalry weekend, Juan Soto is going to be nice and rested. You just heard from Carlos Mendoza's like, hey, he's going back in there. Had to give him 2 days off. Hopefully that doesn't make him cold. I think Juan Soto is the type that will relish this. I think Juan Soto is the type that is like, you knew. You had to know. I still think he's learning New York a little bit. He doesn't really know, but he knows it's going to be an atmosphere where they're, the fans are trying to get to him and get under his skin, but that could backfire. And so what? Like, I don't understand Yankee fans like, yo, don't do that. It's going to backfire on us. Let's compete. He's on the opposing team. He's trying to beat the Yankees. The other Yankees will rise. That's what we'll do. We'll go through my tweet that I put out. I said, who's going to shine in the series? You can't say Juan Soto. You can't say Aaron Judge. And there's a lot of different names. Basically everybody. I think overwhelmingly people do expect Trent Grisham to steal the show and have a big series. We'll see. 888-808-1019. Richard is in Manhattan on the Fan. What's up, Rich?
No.
Agreed.
No way. He's going to carry him. He'll do whatever it takes to win that game tomorrow. So I'm just confident in that. And hopefully it's a good game. And listen, the worst is if they lose, we have a game 7. And you know what? What's worse than that? If we lose game 7, we'll look back at this one day and say, this is one of the most fascinating 7-game series New York has ever seen. I mean, this will really take the cake if the Knicks lose this series, which we, of course, don't hope, which we hope that doesn't happen. But, these are all things that are possible that can happen. So, I was saying this the other night. If you were a Knicks season ticket holder, you had tickets for Friday's game. When you're watching that game last night, isn't there a little party that says, I don't mind going to the game?
Of course. We had a Saturday 3:30 game and a Monday night game. Of course you want the Friday night game. The NBA wanted it. TV, if it's on ESPN, they wanted it.
You said the Saturday afternoon game, right? Saturday afternoon. The Knicks don't play good in afternoon games. They never play well in those kind of games. If you look back in their history, afternoon games, so I didn't feel that they had a good shot at that game last Saturday. And, for some reason, they don't connect with the crowd. As far as the Yankee-Mets series goes, you just want to see 2 out of 3 one of the teams win. You don't want to see one team win all 3. But it's not good for either side. And maybe Soto will bounce out of his slump and get some hits. That'll be nice. I want to see him start hitting. What Judge is doing is unbelievable, and I'll tell you why. Not only is he the Triple Crown leader, he's leading in hits, he's leading in runs scored, on-base percentage, slugging percentage, and base on balls. That's 8 categories. I don't think that's ever been done. I don't even think Bonds did that. I don't think Bonds led in batting average. I don't think he led in number of hits because he'll win the Triple Crown when he hit the 77 homers, right?
No, what Judge is doing is like Tony Gwynn, Bonds. He's doing Aaron Judge things. He's doing his own thing. I hope it can continue through the rest of this month into June and beyond.
Right. It'll be the greatest. I mean, you can go back in the record books. Babe Ruth, Lou Gehrig, all those guys. Tom, this would be the great. I mean, I don't know if you can continue this. Be the greatest season ever by one player.
Yeah, and what's crazy is we were saying that at parts of last year, like he was on pace to have the greatest right-handed hitting season ever. Like he's upped himself again. It's incredible to see how consistent he is.
I think you'll get fascinated by what I'll tell you next. You get a lot of, I'm sure you know a lot of people, and you're a student of the game. You remember back to the time when there were no black quarterbacks in the NFL. Am I correct?
Of course.
All right. You're talking to a guy here who remembers the time in the NFL when there were no black wide receivers. You know who the first black wide receiver that I remember? 1962 on the LA Rams. I think he was the first guy going to acting out of everybody. Bernie Casey. I don't know if you know that.
No.
Who went in before Jim Brown? Now, see, the reason in those days, all the wide receivers were possession wide receivers. The first wide receiver with speed, and this guy never gets credit. He wasn't a football player in college. He was a track star. He started on the 64 Olympic team. Bob Hayes, I'm sure you've heard of that name.
Mm-hmm.
Dallas Cowboys. And he was transformative. He changed the game of football up until then. Now, there were a lot of there were black wide receivers, slotbacks, they call them, like Lenny Moore from the Baltimore Colts, Charlie Mitchell, Charlie Taylor, Bobby Mitchell. They were more running back / wide receiver type guys. Paul Warfield, I'm sure you heard of him. He was one of the first Cleveland Browns. But back then, the wide receivers were all possession type receivers. Hayes came to the Cowboys in '64. He changed the game of football.
Thanks for the call, Richard. But the topic was Aaron Boone did a good job with the bullpen yesterday. You didn't say anything about Aaron Boone or the bullpen. I'm getting a Black History lesson on receivers, and I started watching the NFL in like 94, 95.
Mention.
I don't have that much time tonight, man. I'm done at 10, man. I didn't want to cut you off, but you didn't even talk about what I thought you were going to talk. I was queuing you up. Anyway, 888, Richard's the best. 888-808-119. I'm like, how did we get here? How did we get we were talking about Brunson, and I didn't even know you were going to talk about Brunson. How do we even get to football? I didn't do any football yet tonight. Anyway, we got a guy on the line that must have had a feeling, right? I was talking to Rami about the podcast because this show goes to a podcast. Every hour goes straight to a podcast. I have a few people that talk to me online and they say, hey, man, I live in Australia. I live in somewhere else, not in New York, not in America, where they, the Odyssey app, I don't know how far it reaches. So they listen on the podcast. And so I just go back to the podcast because I don't do it often. And I'm like, let me see if I got any new reviews, rating and reviews. And here's the latest rating and review. The day after my birthday, Mick from Rocky Point writes, I remember listening to him that first night and thinking to myself, this kid is good. I would call the show nightly at first to help in any way I could to help support him. I told him back in 2021 that he would become a star. He's a good kid, and I only have good things to say about him. Just remember, Keith, I'm listening and supporting you all these years. If I live to be 100, God willing, I will still be listening to you talk about the Yankees as if they were the evil Empire Dodgers. Love you, Keith. Now, you know what? I mentioned Mick in Rocky Point because he had sent me a birthday card. I think I mentioned him Monday or Tuesday. I forget where it was. And I thought that we had a little bit of a falling out because of the Dodgers beating the Yankees in the World Series. And here he is, Mick in Rocky Point, back on the fan. Mick, are you celebrating your 94th birthday now?
95.
95 now. God bless you.
Yes, God bless, period. God bless him for allowing me to see my face every morning.
Amazing. You're amazing. I appreciate the support. I got the cards. I couldn't send you one back. I understand there's, a lot of times I get mail. There's no, return address, but I was, calling for you to say thank you and happy birthday. And I appreciate you.
I didn't hear that. I tried to call on your birthday on the 1st, but it was late and the line was busy.
And I didn't say it was my birthday because I didn't want people calling and every call be happy birthday, happy birthday.
Yeah, I hear you.
I hear you, but I was going to bother you anyway with it because that's how I am. But anyway, Keith, I called up because I'm hearing people that want to boo or, God forbid, say the F word to Soto. I mean, shouldn't he be getting a standing ovation? He carried the Yankees to the World Series. He did something Judge couldn't do. He did something that, when's the last time the Yankees were in the World Series?
2009.
Okay, now shouldn't he get a standing ovation for that? I mean, come on.
He will get some applause and a standing O from some classy Yankee fans that feel that way. But in this modern day time of social media and narratives and hate and negativity, there's going to be vitriol. And I think really it stems from the fact that he had a year-long recruiting visit with the New York Yankees. And there were a lot of us that convinced ourselves that, hey, once he gets the smell of the pinstripes and the Yankee way in his nose, there's no way he's going to want to go across town to the Mets. And since he did that, he's dead to a lot of people, and he's going to hear it. It is what it is. It is what it is.
Well, in a way, he was right. He wanted to go to a team that's winning, and they're winning.
He wasn't wrong. He signed the largest contract in the history of sports, and that contract is going to be worth a lot more than the money that the Yankees put down. I'm not mad about the contract at all. I'm not mad. I like the rivalry. I've been leaning into this rivalry forever, and I enjoy the fact that, like, we've never seen this. We've never seen the Yankees lose a free agent, specifically one that played the season before free agency with them, and go across town and choose the Mets. It was great for Mets fans to get that win. Now we get to see what he does for the Mets versus the Yankees in our stadium. And fans are going to heckle, and fans are going to try and boo, and they're going to try and get in his head. It might backfire regardless of what it does. Like, it's going to be a great scene for mid-May baseball in the Bronx. I'm so excited. I'm going tomorrow. I'm going Saturday. I don't know if I can go Sunday. I'll be on the Fan from 1 to 6.
Oh, all right. Sunday. Okay, 1 to 6. I'll tune in.
Yeah, it'd be earlier.
Tomorrow is probably one of the greatest days I remember in New York sports with the Knicks and Boston. I'm an LA fan, but I mean, for New York, tomorrow's quite exciting. You know, the Knicks and then Soto going against the Yankees.
Yeah, there's just a ton of energy and attention around it. It makes you feel good about these teams. It's so much better than, watching, the Giants lose on Monday Night Football or the Jets lose on Thursday Night Football, and that's the only thing on.
The only thing I don't understand is that the kid, or to me, he's a kid, should get some credit. I mean, he carried the Yankees to the World Series. I don't know if we remember, but people were talking about Judge being too old in April.
People were talking about Judge just folding under pressure. Yeah.
First place. And then when they went to the World Series, Judge again went into his routine, and Soto carried them to the World Series, him and Stanton.
I was about to say, we can't leave out Stanton, who was the ALCS MVP and had some big homers and some big moments. Judge did have a homer and a double in that Game 5 loss that gets forgotten about because of the drop pop-up. Soto was a huge part of it, but Gleyber Torres played a part in it. Austin Wells, Volpe. It was a team effort, and I understand where you're coming from. Like, they didn't get to that World Series without him. Like, I came into the postseason last year, in the first game that I went to, I wore my Juan Soto shirt under my pinstripes, and what I told people was, he's the difference. We've seen the rest of these guys fail in the postseason. He's the difference. He's won a World Series. Like, he has the power to help pick these guys up, and he did have his moments or whatnot, but that's over now. That is all gone. And you know what the funny thing is? It's like, hey, you chose to go across town to the rival, and now we're going to show you that, like, last year is erased. None of that matters. We didn't end up winning the World Series, so it's just like that decision alone to go to the crosstown rival, and a lot of Yankee fans' minds are like, all right, you're with the enemy now. We are not rocking with you. You're going to hear it, and anybody that comes into Yankee Stadium that's trying to beat the Yankees is going to hear it. It's just going to be magnified and times 10 with Juan Soto.
The only thing unfortunate about the whole thing is they both have to go through, if the Yankees make it to the World Series, they both have to go through the Dodgers.
In theory, I get it. The new evil empire, Shohei Ohtani, Freddie Freeman, Mookie Betts. In theory, it's the Dodgers, but we shall see. It's not a guarantee, Mick. It's not a guarantee. The last team to go back-to-back was who? The Yankees. And that was a long, long time ago.
I can't even talk about the Yankees. I mean, because I'm a Dodgers fan. You know?
And enjoy your World Series victory and parade, and hope that they get back to the Fall Classic. And if they do, I want revenge. I'm sure the Met fans want revenge too. If it's the NLCS and the World Series again, bring the Dodgers on. You want to be the best, you got to beat the best.
Absolutely, and that's what I want to do. I can't wait. I'm hoping to play the Mets in the NLC Championship and then the Yankees in the World Series. That would just make my life complete. I mean, I still want to go on to next year. I'm going to be 96, but I'm just saying that would be a complete thing, because I really feel that the Mets have a great team this year. I think the Yankees have a good team this year. I think the Yankees are the cream of the American League. I don't really have a lot of respect for the American League, to be honest with you.
I mean, no one does. No one does. We all kind of agree on that. Mick, you're the man. Good to hear from you. Happy birthday. God bless. And appreciate you tapping in with me. I was trying to get you. Like I said, I literally had your review clipped in my notes. I think a couple days ago, I was thanking you for the birthday cards. And yeah, it's wild to think even back to 2021 when I started to now. And those first calls from Mick were great. And I know there's a lot of people that were supportive in the beginning. I know there were a lot of people that were unsure in the beginning. I was unsure myself, but here we are. 888-808-1019, another Subway Series. And now the Knicks having an opportunity, another year the Knicks are in the second round, another year that the Knicks have the opportunity to get out of the second round. They're one win away. It is a great time for New York sports. Peter is in Lawrence, New Jersey on the Fan next. Go for it, Peter.
Hello, Keith. I'm going to first start with the Knicks. They got to do it tomorrow. I predicted on half 7. I would like to see it done in 6 and crush them. Don't give them momentum for game 7.
Oh, yeah. What a party it'll be in the Garden if the Knicks are able to go up 20 at any point.
True. Now about Soto. From the time I met Elston Howard with my mother in 1973, I was a Yankee fan. I remember the repeat championships against the Dodgers. This repeat from 98 to 2000. But to boo Juan Soto is not cool. The man did just like what Reggie did, took them to the World Series. And this is like the second coming of Reggie. If he hits a home run off Rodon, it'll be just like when Reggie hit one off of Guidry in '82.
Y'all have my money on it. I'm afraid of Rodon pitching tomorrow. I think this is a big spot.
His mother. I don't have one. My mother died January 1st, 2023, and I had to give her last rites like a priest. Do not involve his mother in any change. It's not cool, it's immature, and it's not Yankee persona.
Thanks for the call, Peter, but Yankee Stadium is the Bronx Zoo. You can't tell fans what to do. None of us can. I can't. There are people hitting me thinking I have some type of power because I'm a bleacher creature, thinking I have some type of power because I'm a host on air. No, what I've done with my power is tell you anything goes. Be prepared for a mix of anything and everything in there. People are going to be over the top. Some people are going to be neutral. Some people aren't going to care. Nothing is off limits. Nothing is off limits. It is what it is. I've been in there and I've heard crazy things. Some people do a ton of research on these players. Just a random guy that's in right field playing for the Royals, playing for the Mariners, playing for the A's. They'll find out his mom's name, his sister's name, his girlfriend from the 7th grade's name to heckle him. It's just part of it. But again, I go back to everybody, taking care of each other, not taking it too far. If somebody does seem a little too drunk or too rowdy, kind of wrangle them in. But fans are going to be fans. It's a public place. It's New York. It's wild. And the Subway Series itself brings out a ton of casuals. I've said that forever. And what I mean by casuals is not, I don't care how much you know about the game. There are people just looking for a place to get drunk and throw on a Yankee hat or a Met hat and yell and fight and get in people's face and I'm a Yankee fan. Oh, I'm a Met fan. I don't like you. I'm going to talk trash to you. I'm here to heckle Juan Soto. Okay, let the games begin. It's a 3-game set. And that's another thing too. People are going to come in there and get each day, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. There's going to be some different people that want their pound of flesh. And there is no defense of Juan Soto at this point. He's a big boy. He'll be out there. He'll hear it, and he'll respond to it. But anything goes. I'm prepared for whatever. I am not engaging in F. Juan Soto. I said I'll probably boo, but I don't know. I've also said I don't know how I'm gonna feel in there in the moment when he comes out. I don't know how. It's gonna honestly be awkward. It's gonna be different. I was in there videotaping. I have reels and TikToks that have thousands of views of Juan Soto's roll call, Juan Soto's routine running out there last year. It's great, though. It's great for New York baseball. It is great for the rivalry. It is great for fans. And if Juan Soto does, he could homer first pitch off Rodon. What a scene that'll be. I'll probably have $25 on it. I'll probably put at least 25 on him. First homer, and then another 25 on Juan Soto to homer. I'm not stupid. This might ignite Juan Soto, but I don't fear that either. That's another thing I wanted to talk about, right? The Yankees and the Mets. Why can't Pete Alonso steal the show and be the best player in the series? He could be. He's been the best player on the Mets. Same goes for Lindor. Lindor had a 3-homer game in the Subway Series. He likes to get at the Yankees. He understands what it means. Don't sleep on him. Don't sleep on a Brett Beatty or a Mark Vientos or a Luis Angel Acuna. Young guys stepping into this battle. And then even on the Yankees, Paul Goldschmidt. This is his first year really being in it. Trent Grisham didn't really get any action in these last couple years. He's going to want some. And then guys like Ben Rice and Volpe and Wells. And don't forget my guy, the young Dominican outfielder that replaced our other Dominican outfielder, Jason Dominguez, the Martian, right? Him stepping up. Why can't he steal the show and he shine? It's going to be great, man. I love it. It is WWE meets Major League Baseball. It is a movie waiting to happen. And all in all, it's entertainment. It is fun. It is sports. I don't want anybody to get hurt. I don't want anybody to take it to a level where they get harmed. It should just, there should be a line there. And hopefully people know how to act. 888-808-1019. Let's go to Charles in Deal, New Jersey next. Charles, you're on the fan.
Hey, what's happening, brother?
Taking calls, passing the time on this off day,
Hey, yes, sir. Man, I'm excited for tomorrow as a Mets fan. Listen, you don't know the storyline coming into this year. I think it's going to be cool. Juan Soto hasn't done it yet this year, but he's ready to feed off of that energy. You heard him talking to Haven before saying, it's 50,000 against one. First of all, that's not, as a Mets fan, I can even tell you that's not true. There's going to be 10,000 or so Mets fans in there, and I don't even think Yankee Stadium's got 50,000 seats in it. Well, whatever, that's besides the point. He's just saying, it's going to be everyone against him. But I got a question. So I'm a diehard Mets fan. I'm a diehard Mets fan overall, over anything. I'm a Giant fan, I'm a Knicks fan, but I'm a Mets fan over anything. I wouldn't say that I've been looking forward to this series, but it's obviously a big series. What do I do? Am I a Knicks fan if I got the Knicks on the laptop and the Mets on the?
No. Man, do what you feel and don't let anybody tell you how to fan or what your loyalty is supposed to be. Obviously, the hierarchy is playoffs, and that should take precedent over a regular season game. But I think the way it stacks up is amazing. You are going to be able to watch the first couple innings at 7:10, 7:05 rather. You'll be able to see the initial Juan Soto at bat, and then Juan Soto out in the field being received out in the field before the Knicks game starts. But yeah, don't let anybody pressure you into you're not a real Knicks fan if you care about that, or even people saying how do you go to the Subway Series? Because I have a ticket, bro. How do you go to the Subway? And it's also 2025. That's what I said to someone online. They were like, "Oh, real Knicks fans don't go to the game." I'm like, "No, there was a bunch of real Knicks fans there." Did we know the Knicks would be in the second round? Did we know the dates of the games? No. It's 2025. We can all watch on our phones. We literally can all pull the game up on our phone and stream it in the stadium. It's okay. And there are multiple places in Yankee Stadium, whether it's Hard Rock, whether it's the Pepsi Audi Lounge, whether it's the Pepsi Lounge, whether it's that other little spot over there by like the Lobel Steaks where they have a little sports lounge with TVs. There's plenty of places to watch the game.
Yeah, and I'll tell you one thing. You said you're going to be on the air after on Friday night, right?
Yeah, I'm going to leave the stadium probably in the 8th inning, drive down here so I don't get stuck in traffic, and then just be able to take calls and talk about what happens with the Knicks, what happens with the Subway Series, and just extend the night.
All right, man. I can guarantee you I'll be listening to that for sure, bro. Thanks for taking my call.
Appreciate it, Charles. 888-808-1019. I'm running out of time. Keith McPherson on the Fan. Call me up. I'll be right back. All this caping for Juan Soto. Don't boo him. Don't talk about his mom. Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay. Dupree Brand. Johnson Brand. Jay Dupree. Yo, I see you throwing money again, OG. $5 a day. I appreciate it. City's going to be on fire for sure. You can bank on that. Let me check the train schedule right now so I can see which train to catch and if I got to run. So I got to go home, eat, and go to bed, yo. Straight up. $10:08. $10:08. So I have to get on my giddy up a little bit. Not really running, but just hustle out of here when the show ends. See something here. I could probably pack up some. Close game, 45-43, OKC over Denver in Denver right now. I got to bring another water in here. So we'll have one more break after this. So just go here to 54. Yeah, I think we'll do that. And I won't step on the toes of the Giants schedule show. I won't, because I don't know what they're going to talk about. I'll leave that straight up for them. Yeah. Okay. All right, we're gonna take this for 20 minutes.
If you did have like a beautiful, like you just had the one female friend, cousin.
Okay, I got 20 minutes left. I could take this all the way up to, like 9:55, 10 o'clock. Coming up after me is the New York Giants schedule show. They're going to talk about the New York Giants schedule. So I decided I'm not going to talk about it. I did have some things in my notes that I wanted to speak on. I guess I'll just get, my initial thought off my chest. And I think I said this the other night about the NFL and the NFL schedule. No one knows anything. Stop going off of last year. All these teams are going to be different. They have different coaches. They have different players. They drafted different players, free agents. Like nobody knows anything. How are you going to quit on the season before the season starts based off of matchups in theory? And you know what? Somebody always gets got in the first 2 weeks. So it's not a lock that you're going to lose to the Commanders. It's not a lock that you're going to lose to the Cowboys. Who knows what the Chiefs are going to be like coming off of losing the Super Bowl. And the Chargers, they're fraudulent too. So I would just say, stay tuned for that show if you're a Giants fan. Hear these guys break it down. It's a rough schedule. I'm not going to hold you. Like, when you actually look through the schedule, everyone knew this, though. And I remember saying, hey, let's see where in the schedule they put each team as far as travel, because that has something to do with it, too. Like, the Giants got to go on the road the first 2 weeks. Sometimes those flights and those trips, like, they can mess with you. But also late in the season, too, like, the Giants might pick up steam. And with their quarterback room, you don't know who's going to quarterback the team. I don't think Russell Wilson's going to last that long, honestly. They have no reason to stick with him. I think he has incentives in his contract that, like, if they do stick with him, like, if he's winning, he'll try to get – I just don't see it. But I'll tell you this, too. The Giants are going to be a good team to bet on. They're going to be dogs most of the weeks, and there's going to be a week where you decide to put some money on them. Maybe you tease the number up, and then Malik Neighbors goes off, or I don't know, Cam Scatterboo has a big day, or the defense is able to get some turnovers and score some defensive touchdowns. Like, I think the Giants have put the right guys in the room. I think the Giants know they have to win. Joe Shane was on Hey K Adams today. I was going to play some stuff for him, but I think I'll leave it alone. 888-808-1019. I just don't want to step on the toes of the guys coming up next. So Giants fans, stay tuned for that. It's the Sports Equinox. We got football stuff to talk. Obviously, baseball stuff to talk. Not as much hockey, but plenty of basketball. With the Knicks, I just don't see them losing this game. I don't see Brunson letting them lose. I see these guys understanding the pressure. They haven't lost back-to-back games. They're in their building. It's right there. An elimination game in their building with all of their fans. Like, what a night everybody will have if the Knicks get it done, and I expect them to. Let's go to Brooklyn and talk to Hollywood on the Fan in New York. What's up, man?
When Juan Soto gets in at bat and who's he is.
Keith McPherson. I just smacked the look on his face that he saw that every heard that shit.
Yo, you know what's funny that you even brought that up? That actually happened a year ago. A year ago, I got to sit in on the call for Susan Waldman, and the bleachers, they chanted in 203, the bleacher creatures chanted my name as like a tip of a cap to me, being in the booth. I'm like, it's funny you even said that, because that was exactly a year ago today. I did that series on May 15th and 16th, and on May 15th, we were playing the White Sox, and I almost cried. I'm like, no way. I'm like, I just got a roll call. Like, John Sterling got a roll call like a month before. Like, yeah, how funny would that be if they chant Keith McPherson when Juan Soto steps into the batter's box?
You're the youngest living legend out here today, bro. I'm not gonna hold you on that. See real quick before I get to my thought, and this is on some personal note. I love listening to you. It was the first time I'm calling it. And you inspired me so much 2 years ago as I'm sitting on my Facebook page. I see this little ad come up for Full Sail University. You want to be a sports broadcaster? I signed up. I'm a sophomore at Full Sail.
Good. Congrats. I'm flattered, honestly.
Bro, you should be, man. Like, seriously, like, you should be. Like, you're that man. Like, I listen to you and my class and stuff. We're going to get into something real serious here with sports voices. Like, I don't need a sports voice. I coach basketball out here in Brooklyn for the future stars and everything. So I'm the loudest one you're going to meet on the fan. But just learning, like, techniques and stuff, listening to you and different hosts on the fan, I'm getting prepared for it. I'm really ready to walk into a studio tonight to do a game. I think everybody that knows me knows that Coach Brian, that's my real name, Hollywood, OG Wood on Facebook, running for the action.
Good, man. Do your thing. Don't let anybody tell you anything. It's all up for grabs out here. If you're good, they're gonna find you. You want to call games? You want to do play-by-play commentary? Like, what are you looking to do? You want to do radio like hosts like me?
Whatever it is that I get selected to do, I'm ready for it. I'm not gonna hold you on that. I don't care. I can call a game. I can come into your studio. It does not matter. I look at it like this. So before practices, I run a youth basketball organization. Before practices, I have a circle meeting with my team. And after practice, I have a circle meeting with my team to dismiss them. So that's the beginning for my preparation of just learning how to interact with people's personalities at the moment, because everybody's not gonna be feeling, especially after one of my practices. You're tired, you're beat, you're ready to pass out, you're ready to give up. And I'm like the master motivator. Like, if you ever came and watched one of my games, you will hear me on the sideline, like, you get in there, your big horse, your big dog, and I'm looking to take that energy with me and bring it to the front.
Yeah. It all starts somewhere, and even the fact that you're a coach and you're in sports, that gives you just a level of credibility in my book. I always just I want to know if anybody has ever been out there, if anybody has ever seen things from that vantage point. There's a lot of people talking about sports that they couldn't coach anything, they couldn't do anything with a ball, but it is what it is. Congratulations to you, man. Good luck with everything, and thanks for the call. 888-808-1019. I'm flattered. If you listen to me, and there's so many young guys that I've connected with that are like, man, I listen to your show, or I like what you do, and you inspired me to go to school. And now there are guys that are graduating that are like, this is my 4th year. They're like, yo, this is my 4th year. Like, I started listening to you, so that's powerful, man. My journey and my way it's still going. So even you're the youngest living legend out here. I'm like, man, I got so much more to do. This is not enough. I'm my biggest critic. I think I should be further along, but a stack wins day by day, and I try to inspire or retire and motivate people. Anybody listening, like, you can do it. You can literally do it, because we're in this social media digital age now, where if you turn that camera on, you turn your phone on, you start talking, you start putting it together, and people can find you. And if you're dope, you won't be a secret for long. So follow your dreams. Anyway, we were supposed to be talking about the Knicks. I think I threw to him thinking he was going to talk about the Knicks. Let's go to somebody else to talk about the Knicks game. Richie in Queens knows what to do. What's up, Richie?
PW, you were here 4 years. I can remember when they were talking to you when you came on, and you were an unknown, and here you are 4 years later, doing a great job as always, having a little child at home, waiting to see your week of just epic movies that I've been telling you about. That's when I know you're going to reach 40. Hey, listen, a couple of things. I'm sitting here listening, right, and watching them, and the Twins have won 11 in a row, incredible. But talking about the series before I get to the next, the Subway Series is always interesting, and there's a couple of real. I mean, obviously, Judge at 400, Alonso more walks and strikeouts, hitting 320. But Trent Grisham, that is an incredible story. This guy was a 180 hitter. When he was in the National League, he killed my team, the Giants. And he had one year when he hit 17 homers, but he hit 184, average OPS of 650. He's at 980 now. Is it an aberration? He's 28. Is he coming into his own? Is he a late bloomer? Or is it's just a matter of time?
Mets fans know what he did in that wild card series. You know what I think it is? Because I don't think that this is a flash in the pan. I think it's a combination of him getting to the Yankees and him being glued to the bench last year. And he probably thought he was better than Verdugo, and he didn't get a chance to play because Judge was in center, Soto was in right. And also, like, the disrespect of being the throw-in in the trade. Also, like, the error he made when he was in Milwaukee, that ball that got by him, and then the Nationals go on to win. Like, he's had a rough go at it. He's been underestimated. He's been talked down on, and now he's finally with the New York Yankees getting to start and play every day for the most part, and he's ready for the opportunity. He's seizing the opportunity. He was always supposed to be. I think he was a top pick. He was projected to be, and
big pick with San Diego. But you can all those are factors, Keith. But to produce the way he's doing, I mean, give him
the power. I don't understand. I don't understand how he hit so many homers with his swing. I don't know. It makes me wish that they got him more involved last year in the postseason run if he can do this.
Yeah, but I think again, obviously this weekend I'm into golf for the PGA. You got the basketball. You got the the series with the Yankees and the Mets. I've talked to you before. I think they abuse it. There's too many games. I don't like the Yankees finishing up with the the Raw thing or the Dodgers at the end of the year, or the San Diego Padres or the Giants playing Detroit. I think you should play division games the last 2 or 3 series. But this kind of thing is great. Well, the Knicks, I don't know what to expect. We spoke the other day. They weren't supposed to be here, number one. Do I think that Brunson is going to single-handedly? I'd like to think that, but there's a pedigree with Boston. They've got players, and I know Tatum is a big miss. And think about this, Porzingis is not even a factor. So the fact that they got beat up so badly, I know it's one game, but you would have thought that, after the Tatum injury, they'd be hurting a little bit. But he turned it around and made it incentive for them to win. So do I think that they can win this game tomorrow? Yeah, and I think they really kind of have to. And again, Cat has been a big, big disappointment. And you know what? You're going to have the comparisons now. And I don't know, I didn't hear the show earlier. It's going to be, did they make the right move getting rid of Randall? Randall's been phenomenal.
Of course.
To the difference. What do you think? You think the Towns is a better player than Randall?
I think it was a move that they had to make. Thanks for the call, Richie. I think it was a move that they were eyeing. I think because of the situation with Isaiah Hartenstein and how they signed him, and they weren't able to give him the contract that OKC did. And then also with Mitchell Robinson's injury, they needed to make another move. And it seems to be the right move. Based on where they are today, it was the right move. Julius Randle just seems like, I don't know if Julius Randle would have worked with this team. He works with Ant-Man and them and McDaniels and DiVincenzo and Rudy Gobert, because everybody's expecting Ant-Man to be the guy. They're leaving Julius Randle wide open. Julius Randle's in his bag. I watched the highlights from that game last night. I'm like, he's free to do what he wants. He can't do that with Brunson. He couldn't do that. He couldn't do that with this team, with Cat on the floor. I badly want, I'm probably, like I said, going to bet on it. I badly want to see Cat go out there, have a good game, have a signature game that Knicks fans will remember forever, get him going early, hit some threes, like bring that part of your game back and help the Knicks go on a run and close it out at home. And we can, that conversation will be done about did they make the right move. I think Cat, he has to perform well. He has to find it tomorrow. And it's just, you're just kind of looking over there. Like the video went viral of the Knicks fans pulling down Julius Randle's poster after they got eliminated 2 years ago, or maybe it was last year, but he was hurt. So I think it was 2 years ago. And people were like, oh, Julius Randle deserved better. Man, Julius Randle talked about he went through some things. He just had his third child, his first daughter. He needed that trade, I think. And Minnesota, you guys have been to Minnesota. Minnesota is nothing like New York. You go out there, there's nothing to do but lock in on basketball, and some guys need that. This was a huge spotlight. There's a lot of pressure here in New York. Julius Randle didn't always answer to it the right way, but ultimately, I think Karl-Anthony Towns will answer the bell. I think him, Jalen Brunson, all of the Knicks, I think they know what they got to do with the city behind them. They're going to get it done, Knicks in 6, and we won't be even talking about the trade. We'll be talking about Pacers versus Knicks and the Eastern Conference Finals, which is long overdue to return to New York City. 888-808-1019. Ray is in Brooklyn on the Fan next. What's up, Ray?
Keith, how you doing, man?
Good.
Good, that's good. You know, first of all, you are my guy. I just gotta say that. Evan Thomas.
Appreciate it.
I'm gonna start with my Knicks. Tomorrow night, they will step up. Like you say, you want Cat to have a good game? I think they will have a good game as a franchise. Everybody's going to come to life. I believe I'm keeping my hopes alive. I'm keeping my belief in them that everybody has a good game as a franchise. I'm not selling Boston short, but I know we're going to do what we got to do.
Sounds like a plan.
With this Subway Series, I can tell you right now, this whole Juan Soto thing, I'm going to compare that to when Luka went back to Dallas. You're going to have fans that want to see him, you're going to have fans that don't want to see him. Because remember, when Luka went back to Dallas, he got a standing ovation, but you had fans there that didn't want him there. And that's how that's going to play out. I really believe that's going to play out. And you know, like you said, how Yankee Stadium is, fans are a beast.
I've seen it. I've lived it. Thanks for the call, Ray. I can't wait to be in there tomorrow for it with the Knicks game going on. It's going to be a mix of everything, but that's okay. 888-808-1019. I'm running out of time, actually. If you call now, you'll probably be on. Coming up next is John Schmelk and Paul Dottino, the Giants schedule preview show. Let me get the rest of my calls in, if I even can. Trevor is in Mattawan on the Fan. What's up, Trevor?
Hey, what's up? Yeah, so it's cool to bring it back to some of the Giants talk here. But I wanted to bring up something you brought up before, saying that it would be a good bet to take Giants this year. But then you mentioned that Russell Wilson, you don't really have much faith in him. So I feel like the two kind of just contradict each other.
Well, I can explain. I just think they're going to be underdogs. And especially in those first 4, 5, 6 games, they're going to be underdogs in all those games. But you're going to have to pick a spot. You're going to have to pick a spot where you think, hey, this might be the week where they can cover. This might be the week where you take a money line and win. They did that last year. They went out to Seattle and beat the Seahawks when they weren't supposed to. They weren't supposed to beat the Browns, and they did that with Daniel Jones. Now, I expect Russell Wilson to be all right, but from what I saw with him and the Steelers at the end of the year, I think this guy is done. I think this might be his last year in the league. And, the Giants are going to try and get the most out of him. But the fact that they have Jameis there and Jackson Dart has shown some good signs, like people are already trying to force Jackson Dart into this first year. I don't expect Russ to have a long leash if he's not making the throws, if he's a sitting duck, he's taking sacks, if he's not looking the part like an NFL quarterback.
Yeah, that sounds. My question for you too is who would you like to see start week 1? I know Wilson's gonna.
He has to. He's a Super Bowl winning champion, should have 2 rings. He's got the pedigree. He was a starter last year. I honestly think Jameis is going to win over the locker room. He's a little bit younger, different personality, but you got to give Russell the starting job just out of respect for him as a veteran. It's his job to go out there and lose, essentially. Like if he doesn't perform, then Jameis will get to rock. And if they're that bad this year, which who knows, maybe late in the season you see Jackson Dart, but I wouldn't even rush the kid. I'd give him this whole year. Thanks for the call, Trevor. I'd give him this whole redshirt season to learn and to watch and not have to worry about playing at all. And I'm out of time. Just like that, I'm out of time. Again, I'll be on tomorrow night right after the Yankees post game. And then I got a special extended Sunday Saw show 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. before Sunday Night Baseball. So we'll be able to catch up then on Friday and Saturday of the Subway Series. Hopefully the Knicks ended in 6 and everything else that goes on in the wide world of New York sports. Keith McPherson on the Fan. Thanks for everybody watching on the live stream, everybody that called. You guys were extremely kind and nice with your compliments and the things you had to say over the phone. Thanks for listening. Again, coming up next, John Schmelk, Paul Dottino, the Giants schedule preview show on the Fan. Good night. That's it, yo. That's it, yo. I got to run, yo. I got to get on the train, yo. I got to run, yo. I got to get on the train, yo. I got to go home and try and sleep, yo. I'm too geeked up. Feel me? You jocking a player, you choo-chooey or what? I got to take my sleeping pills tonight. Go home, make me something to eat, take my sleeping pills, and try and go to bed and rest. Because tomorrow is a marathon, and it's a 2-day marathon. Follow my Instagram, yo. I'm going to show everybody what the deal is as far as, like, where I'm at, what I'm doing, how I'm doing it. Blessed to do it. Blessed to have so many people rocking with me for real. It's a great feeling. I'm extremely blessed. So that's all I got. Make sure you hit like on the way out if you're on the YouTube. And yeah, we'll do this again later tomorrow night after the Subway Series and after Game 6.